From the state of hockey, we welcome you inside Xcel Energy Center in St. Paul, Minnesota, as tonight the regular season begins to wind down, but there's still some things for teams to play for. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jaric Rubel, and welcome into the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel for this game between the Anaheim Ducks as they battle the Minnesota Wild here in St. Paul. And while the calendar says there's only a couple days left before the Stanley Cup playoffs, both of these teams already know that they're in, as Anaheim has a record of 42, 32, and 6 on the season. They've punched their ticket to the postseason for the first time in 8 years, as they didn't even need to step on the ice to do it, as they got help from San Jose's win over the Nashville Predators last night. But don't let that clinch fool you. This team is not going to try and ease up just yet with 2 games remaining. This is about regaining momentum, finding their rhythm, and making sure they're playing hockey at their best when the games matter most, because this Ducks team has lost 7 of their last 8 games. They once led the Pacific Division by 6 points, and now they trail the Vegas Golden Knights in the division for 3 points for that top spot, and the Ducks can still win the division if they are to win out in these final 2 games against the Wild and the Predators. But Seattle will also need to beat Vegas in regulation tomorrow for that to happen. Meanwhile, the Minnesota Wild, 45, 24, and 12 on the year. They're locked into their spot as well. They're in the Central Division, and a first-round date with the Dallas Stars for the second time in 4 years. And that's already circled on their calendar, as that series will start either Saturday or Sunday. But for Minnesota tonight, it won't change their opponent, or I should say it won't change their opponent in the first round, but it is one final game to sharpen up as tonight closes out their regular season here in Minnesota, and head coach John Hynes will have one final evaluation of the depth of his team. The players know it too. There are spots to be earned, and the ice time will need to be fought for heading into game 1. Most of the big guns are out, just like last game. No Ryan Hartman, no Kirill Kaprizov, no Matt Boldy, no Quinn Hughes, no Brock Faber, as the big guns are out for the Minnesota Wild in this game. And veteran forward Michael McCarron, who will be in the lineup tonight for Minnesota, said it best. This team is trying to build something that they could carry with them through for a deep playoff run. And that identity, it starts now. And on the Anaheim side, head coach Joel Quenneville's watching just as closely, as these final games are auditions as well. Who's going to step up, who earns the trust, and who finds themselves in the lineup on game 1 on this weekend. We all know Q's not afraid to shake things up either if you end up in his doghouse, so you want to make sure this time of year you're playing hockey to the best of your ability. One player who's already made that loud statement is Cutter Gauthier in his return against the Vancouver Canucks. He hit the 40-goal mark by scoring twice in that game, a milestone by any measure. But for Gauthier, the focus is simple. It's not about his own stats. It's about getting the team back on track, trying to chase a Stanley Cup in the first year under Joel Quenneville. So while the 16 teams may be set, don't expect either side to take their foot off the gas in this one. It's a tune-up game for the Wild as the depth players try and earn their roles and get in form for their weekend matchup against the Dallas Stars, and a big 2 points on the line for Anaheim if they want to avoid what could be a potential rough first round of matchup. So 2 playoff teams collide tonight in St. Paul. It's the Ducks and the Wild. Next, I'm Jaric Rubel, and you're listening to this NHL Watchalong right here on the Ultimate Sports Radio Network. welcome back into Grand Casino Arena here in St. Paul, Minnesota. Can't believe I called it Xcel Energy Center without realizing the name changes. After watching this sport for 15 years, Xcel Energy Center is all I've known, and it completely slipped my mind that it's now Grand Casino Arena here in St. Paul. But after all that, welcome back into the broadcast, everybody. We're set to drop the puck here in Minnesota as we take a look here at tonight's goaltending matchup. In goal for the Ducks, it's Lukáš Dostál, 30, 19, and 4 on the year for him, a 3.10 goals against average and an .889 save percentage. He'll be opposed at the other end by Jesper Wallstedt, 17, 9, and 6 on the year, 2.63 goals against average and a .915 save percentage. They've opposed each other already this year, as Lukáš Dostál lost his decision as he gave up 5 goals on 34 shots back on January the 2nd out in Anaheim, and Jesper Wallstedt shut out these Anaheim Ducks in this building back on November the 15th as he stopped all 28 shots the Anaheim Ducks threw his way. And that is the season series between these two thus far. I'm kind of surprised that head coach Joel Quenneville, I get the situation, you got to go with your top goaltender, but looking at the splits here, Lukáš Dostál's 1-4-1 against the Minnesota Wild with a 3.33 goals against average and a .908 save percentage. His backup, Ville Husso, he's 6-0-0 against the Minnesota Wild with a 2.43 goals against average, a .924 save percentage, and a shutout. So it's just one of those things where perhaps maybe you gamble with Ville Husso, but it appears Joel Quenneville's gut told him Lukáš Dostál, so he goes tonight. And again, for the Minnesota Wild, they're going to be without a lot of their top guys in this game. No Brock Faber, no Matt Boldy, no Joel Eriksson Ek, no Matt Zuccarello, no Ryan Hartman, no Quinn Hughes, no Jared Spurgeon, and no Kirill Kaprizov. Yeah, that's a lot of guys not going tonight. So it'll be a lot of depth guys in the lineup, including my new favorite name in hockey. It is Viking Gustafsson Nyberg on the back end on the third defense pairing tonight for the Minnesota Wild. He made his NHL debut yesterday against the St. Louis Blues, and in that game for Minnesota, he logged a team-leading 21 minutes and 57 seconds of ice time, delivered 1 hit, no shots on that, was on the ice for a goal against. But Viking Gustafsson Nyberg, what a name, made himself a nice presence on the ice yesterday for the Minnesota Wild. So we're set to drop the puck now in St. Paul. Jaric Rubel with you here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. One more time, Tuesday night hockey this regular season. I'll be with you again on Thursday as well for whichever game seems to make sense. We'll see if any of them actually seem to matter on Thursday, but for sure Saturday and Sunday I'll have the opening playoff games with you each afternoon as we're ready for hockey here in Grand Casino Arena. The Anaheim Ducks attacking left to right in this period, Minnesota going right to left in period 1, and Mikael Granlund, the ex-Minnesota Wild, beat Daniel Yurov on the draw, and we're underway. So it's dumped into Minnesota ice, but it's going to be blown dead 10 seconds in for an icing as nobody was up the right wing, so a stoppage 19:50 remaining in this first period. And with that, let's look at these Wild lines with everybody out. The top line is Yurov between Trenin and Tarasenko, then Hunter Height centering Marcus Johansson and Bobby Brink, McCarron between Nick Foligno and Nico Sturm, and Ben Jones between Robbie Fabry and Nick Aube-Kubel. Wild win the draw. Damon Hunt, a shot from straight away, went off the end boards, came to the far wall for Jackson Lacombe to go after it. As Lacombe played it up the far wall, it came to Alex Killorn, fed it back to Lacombe now, as on the near side it'll be pool cued by Trouba over the Wild blue line, came back to him though in front of the penalty boxes, and now it's taken by Seneca up the right wing. He's free into the Wild zone with a backhand shot and a save by Wallstedt as he'll cover as Beckett Seneca, the teenager with 20 goals on the year, came roaring on in and went to the backhand against Jesper Wallstedt, but he was able to stay with the young Anaheim Duck winger and make a good blocker save and cover up. So Seneca this year, 23 goals, 37 assists for 60 points This year is a 19-year-old. As he now heads off for a change, the Leo Carlsson line steps onto the ice for Anaheim. No Chris Kreider tonight for the Ducks, by the way, as he's getting the night off, as is Radko Gudas. And meanwhile, at the left wing circle, Minchikov fanned on a shot, as it's Jeffrey Viel on this top line with Troy Terry and Leo Carlsson tonight. Gronlund with Seneca and Killorn, per usual. And then McTavish is with Cutter Gauthier and Tim Washy. Then Ryan Poehling is on that fourth line tonight, as rejoining the lineup will be Jansen Harkins, and Ian Moore will be a seventh defenseman, as Lacomb's paired with Trouba, Minchikov with John Carlson, and Hines on the back end as well with Drew Hellison. So back behind the Wild goal to our right. In the far corner, Troy Terry spun it up to the far point, sent this way off the wall to John Carlson. Right wing circle, now here's Leo Carlsson along the right wing boards, trying to protect, got stick checked by a Wild defenseman. That's Kierstead on the back end, as now here's a pass up ahead for McCarron, out of his reach. Could have been an opportunity all alone, but now it's back in possession of the Anaheim Ducks, as Minchikov sand-wedged it up the near wing in front of the penalty boxes. Leo Carlson's pass went on right onto the blade of Michael McCarron, and the Ducks will get a change, as we've played 90 seconds here in Grand Casino Arena, live from St. Paul. Jaric Rubel with you on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Down to our left, behind the Anaheim goal, it popped up the near boards. Poehling trying to get it out the center for the Ducks will, as in front of the penalty boxes, Middleton just stood up, an Anaheim defenseman on the near side, or that was McTavish rather, the young centerman, as he now heads off for a change. Meanwhile, puck back in front of the penalty boxes will be grabbed by Hines. On this back end, Tyson Hines, his fifth career NHL game, has 3 hits and 5 blocks thus far, still looking for his first NHL point, as now the puck's rattled back into the Minnesota zone. Down to our right, behind the goal line, Washy trying to come up with this puck, tied up with Jonas Brodin, who replaces Jared Spurgeon in the lineup, who played yesterday in St. Louis. Meanwhile, up on the far wing, Hunter Height trying to clear, but Ian Moore got in the way there to try and pry it loose. Tied up with Nick Foligno, the puck now trickles to the far wall, and Washy will backhand it up to Lacombe at the point. Slid this way, Trouba looking for a tip in the slot from Washy. It deflected off his stick to the near wall. Vetrano on it, flooded across far wall. Here's Lacombe, button hooking on Nick Foligno. Jackson Lacombe to Vetrano at the point. His shot missed the net by a mile. Sits in the trapezoid where Jonas Brodin collects and sends it in the near corner for Damon Hunt. And he's the only Wild on my TV screen at the moment, as everybody is changing. 3 minutes played thus far in Minnesota. Ducks and Wild live on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. The Ducks, if they want to win the Pacific Division, are going to need 2 points in this game, as the puck now goes out of play through neutral ice on the far side. So 16:54 remaining in the first period. We have ourselves a stoppage. Anaheim earned a point in a 4-3 overtime loss to the Canucks, but it definitely didn't feel like a good point earned, as this team's in a rough time, having a rough time right now, losing 7 of their last 8 as they finished their home schedule with a 24-13-4 record. That was the most wins on home ice in a season since the last time they made the playoffs in 2018, but losing to the Canucks in a game you need to have gotten 2 points in if you want at least home ice in the first round. That was a tough one and makes their path a little bit more difficult to the top of the Pacific Division, as now in their own defensive zone, Minchikov had a pass go off the back of his net. Now John Carlson turned it over as it was put towards the net by the Wild, but it didn't quite make it on net as Abe Kubel flung it there. Meanwhile, back at center ice, crossing the red line, now the Wild blue on the right wing's Killorn. Dropped it off John Carlson a one-timer, got caught into the catching glove by Wallstead, and he'll hang on here with 16:25 to go in this opening period. So the Wild have clinched their playoffs here for the 12th time in the last 14 seasons, 15th overall, as they rank 3rd in the Western Conference with 102 points, tied for the second highest point total through a season in the first 81 games as a franchise. But despite all that, will not have home ice, as of course the other 2 teams better than them in the West are also in the Central Division, Dallas and Colorado. So the Wild will begin their playoff journey in Dallas, likely Saturday and Monday. But again, the schedules can change, but Dallas, I would assume, likely to play on Saturday, as the Wild are done tonight And the Dallas Stars are done tomorrow, while most of the Western Conference wraps up on Thursday, so they get the extra day's rest that other teams don't. So we'll see what the schedule makers provide for us, as the Wild here in the Duck zone tried to put one on net, came off the stick of Jeff Petrie, but it hit a skate in the slot, and the Ducks will clear it back to center. 4 minutes gone by, opening period here, Ducks and Wild, as in between the benches, Bobby Brink carries a trade deadline acquisition from Philadelphia into the right wing circle with a shot, and he missed to the blocker side of Dostal. Ricocheted up the near side for Viel to twist into the Wild zone. Goes to the far corner down to our right. Brodin will leave it there for Nico Sturm. Sturm now chipped it ahead, and at the logo, it went off the skate of Yakov Trenin, and he'll have to bunt it back for Hunt in the Wild D zone. Hunt now played in front of the Wild bench. Trenin had it behind him, and now McCarron turned it over, and the Ducks are the other way with it. McTavish, far left wing into the Wild zone. Button hooking at the circle on Trenin. Left it for Paling, who's taken to the boards by his counterpart wearing 25, Jonas Brodin. Still on that far half boards, Paling played it up near the point, but it got taken away by Sturm before it got to Trouba, and now Sturm chips it past Trouba. Tried to feed it in front, but it went to the near corner of the Duck zone down to our left, and now it ricochets in front. Trenin can't find it, rolled up to the blue line for Viking Gustafsson Nyberg now, as he's on the ice wearing number 6 for the Wild in the forest green. Up to the left point, covering forms McCarron. Long slap shot, soaked up by Dostal, and he will cover for a whistle. 14:44 to go in this first period. So face-off coming up to Dostal's right. As overall on the year, Lukáš Dostal's been good for the Anaheim Ducks, as he had a great performance in Colorado back on January the 21st. He stopped 40 shots that came his way out of 41 in a victory for Anaheim, and he had a crazy performance as well against Team Canada in the Olympics against a lot of those same players, and it made me wonder, perhaps Dostal could steal a game against the high-octane teams for this Ducks team in the playoffs. But at the moment, the way they're trending, they're going to need a lot of help offensively to help Dostal out, because they do surrender quite a bit of goals, and we'll see if they give one up tonight, as the Wild have found the score sheet in every game this season. Should they score tonight, it would mark the first time in Wild history they went all 82 games without being shut out, as now in the Anaheim offensive zone, a shot went towards Wallstead, but it's blocked in front by Matt Kierstead and backhanded out towards center now. Thrown back into the Wild zone, though, as Washi's first to it in the near corner. Taken to the boards by Middleton. Puck at their feet, kicked out of the far corner. Petrie will pick it up for Minnesota. And now out the center, played it for Marcus Johansson, who will backhand one in. Bounced right on Dostal, had to block that one down. Sticked it behind his own net, and it'll be carried up on the near wing by Beckett Seneca. Here comes Seneca over the red and the Wild blue. Played it into the slot, went off the skate of a Wild defenseman. Came to the near wall, where it'll be thrown down by John Carlson. Seneca out of the far corner in the slot. Killorn couldn't get good wood on the shot. Now on the far side, the Wild have it as Petrie flips it out the center, bounces at the Wild logo and rolls over the Duck blue line on the near side, and Drew Hellison will collect and played it up now for Seneca once more. Seneca straight away over the logo, now the Wild blue line, zipped it far corner, and a shot there that came off the stick of Hines went wide. Now on the near point, here's Killorn, tried to play it in the slot for a deflection, couldn't get it, as it now deflects back to center. Ducks tag up, and a nice pass finds Groudlin from Killorn. Killorn now down low in the near corner for Groundland. Groundland back to Killorn at the right wing circle. Up to the point now, Trouba slid it across left wing corner. It's a shot by Lacombe, tipped on the left pad of Wallstead. He'll cover easily. With 12:57 to go in the first period, we'll step aside. Scoreless hockey in the first 7 minutes from St. Paul. Ducks and Wild on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Jaric Rubel back with you here in St. Paul, Minnesota, where it's scoreless through the first 7 minutes and 3 seconds between the Anaheim Ducks and the Minnesota Wild, as Anaheim looking to get 2 points in this game. Losing 7 of their last 8 has cost them a good shot at the top seed in the Pacific and a likely matchup against the Utah Mammoth, which sounds much sexier than taking on the Golden Knights or the Oilers. Perhaps the Kings, though. The freeway faceoff would be kind of cool, but the Ducks definitely squandering an opportunity at a good matchup to advance to the second round. See, though, if they could win out and Vegas lose tomorrow in regulation to Seattle. Meanwhile, the Wild win a D-zone draw, and they were the other way, but it got blown dead 4 and offsides. So another stoppage in play here at 12:50 remaining in this first period. The Wild here tonight just skating for exercise pretty much, but the depth guys on this team definitely want to show that they could bring it in the playoffs as they want to try and spoil this Ducks team that can't get out of this funk that they've been in. As it's nice to see Robbie Fabry back in the lineup. He's on the 4th line tonight for the Wild. So he spent last season with the Anaheim Ducks, so perhaps he wants a quote-unquote revenge goal against him in this game. As now behind the Duck net, it'll be Lacombe playing one straight ahead. VL tipped it over the wild line for Carlson. Toe drag in with a backhand shot and a save with the stick by Wallstedt as he put it into the near corner. Here's Terry trying to dig to it. Got it to Carlson, who shakes free from Nyberg. As now to the point it's played, but deflected away by Sturm. And now the Ducks here resetting at their own blue line. Leo Carlson dropped it back off. Trouba goes up the right wing to Terry now. As now Terry will circle back in his own zone. 8 minutes gone by in this first period. Jaric Rubel with you on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel is up the far left wing. A pass finds McTavish into the Wild zone. Protecting along the boards, played it down low, and it's tracked down by Paling. Bunted up to the right point. John Carlson played it to the far corner. As now it'll be tracked and thrown up by Urov. Came to the logo at center, and it's taken back by Cutter Gauthier. Turned it over, got it back. In front of the penalty boxes, John Carlson played it over the line, but it came back to the Wild as Hunt goes rink wide for Brodin. Got the red line, sauced it in behind the Anaheim goal line. As now it's picked up Minchikov. Minchikov up the far left wing, and McTavish will play it to the logo at center. It's carried over by Carlson. Fed left wing circle. Toe drag shot by Cutter Gauthier. Blocked by Brodin and carried up by Urov. He pulls up now in front of his own bench. Threw it back in his defensive zone as the Wild are changing here. With 8 minutes and 45 seconds played in the first period. So up on the near wing, Hunter Haight found Marcus Johansson. Over the Duck line, he'll go. Lost possession of it here as it's taken away by Trouba. And up the near wing, not out. Nick Foligno will keep it. And played it back around the goal now. His throat's bothering me here, so if I sound a little slow, that's why. It's now a shot here swallowed up by Dostal. And I'm going to take a minute to get some water in me here as I need some. So give me 1 second. So I'm back here now. So we're still scoreless and a face-off coming up here. After that stop by Dostal. Coming to his left here. And off the draw, it's going to be pulled back by Granlund. And now Lacombe up the near wing. He'll put it over into the Wild end. Taken now by Petrie, put up the far boards and back out to center. Trouba now with it. Turned it up back to neutral ice for Seneca. He got poke-checked by Haight, now has to turn back. Got squeezed into the boards by Haight, but a pass found Trouba, who poked it as far as the red line, and now getting taken down was Killorn at center. And it looks like a penalty here is coming up on the Wild. So Hunter Haight sits here, and the Anaheim Ducks to the game's first power play. So Anaheim here to the man advantage, ranked 23rd in the NHL. Minnesota's PK 13th overall in the league, 24th on home ice. We'll see here how this Anaheim power play fares here. Trying to get the game's first goal, something the Minnesota Wild typically do. So it'll be important here if Anaheim's able to find the back of the net. So off the draw to the right of Wallstedt. It's one to the back and controlled by Lacombe. Far left wing. Here's McTavish. Off the end boards. Now a stuff attempt by Gauthier. Got put to the far wall. McTavish back, Gauthier one-timer from the right circle, put down with the left pad by Wallstead. Rebound in behind. Here's Nick Foligno trying to move it along, got tied up in behind by Paling. Puck came to Cutter on the near corner, threw it up to the right point, Lacombe. Fed it across, now here's Mason McTavish, back to Lacombe at the right point. McTavish far left point, so it starts to look over the traffic and creeps into the left wing circle. Threw it near side, and now here's Gauthier. Gauthier now up to the point, Lacombe to the right wing circle, Gauthier again. Across left wing, here's McTavish. Up now, here's Gauthier, one-timer. Save made right on by Wallstead. Rebound up but not out as Lacombe keeps it. Far left wing. McTavish again. Final 70 of the power play. Up top it goes for Lacombe. Lacombe left wing. McTavish looking, shooting, scores! Mason McTavish, power play goal. And the Anaheim Ducks lead it 1-0. So Mason McTavish gets his 16th goal of the season, and the Anaheim Ducks with that power play marker lead it 1-0 on the road here in Minnesota. So just good patience by Mason McTavish here at the left wing circle as he just was poised and picked his spot, threugh a screen on top by Killorn and shot it far side over the glove of Jesper Wallstead. And Anaheim with the 1-0 lead here on the road. So off the ensuing face-off, the Ducks win it thanks to Leo Carlson, and he got a pass up the right wing from John Carlson now, and he got cut off by Damon Hunt as he entered the wild zone. Minnesota back with it through neutral. Drop pass on the near wing for Ben Jones as the fourth line goes to work. Going behind the Anaheim net to the far corner, puts on the brakes to the backhand. Tried the center, it came behind the goal. Now Abe Kubel trying to play it. Lost it, came down low to Jones again. Slug it behind the net. Touched in front there by Fabry. Couldn't connect though with Abe Kubel. Now the Ducks out to center. Terry over the red line. Put it far wall and in comes VL trying to get past Hunt. Got a stick lifted and lost it. Now on the far side turned over. Back in come the Ducks. Terry is shot and that's gloved by Wallstead. As Terry tried to go upstairs, Jesper Wallstead able to deny him. And that'll send us to break here halfway through period one. Mason McTavish power play goal has Anaheim in front. 1-0 on the road. One 0 Anaheim on the power play goal by Mason McTavish as he and the Ducks lead it 1-0 on the road in Minnesota. Jaric Rubel here with you on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube page. McTavish with that goal now has points in 5 of his last 6 outings as the Ducks went scoring first this year, 21-8-2. And the Wild, meanwhile, 12-18-6 when allowing the first goal. So face-off coming up here to the right of Wallstead. And off the draw, Gronlund's able to beat McCarron, and the Ducks control straight away from the point. Trying to snap one right away was Seneca. Came to the near corner, and now Brodin. Brodin pivoting on the far wall. Lost an edge, no trip, says the official. As now Hunt on the near left side played it up the boards. It gets out to center. Into the Duck zone, it'll roll. Picked up by Hines. As now Hines from behind his own net put it up the far boards. Tipped into the Wild zone. It will be played by Wallstead. Threw it up in front of the Wild bench. Killorn will play it back to his defenseman. As now Hines nudges it this way for Trouba to play up on the right side. Here's Seneca. Drop pass in the slot. Grounded a snapshot. Blocked on the back check by Sturm as it went in behind. Came to the far wall. Seneca can't grab it. Trennan will. As the Wild now will try and twist it out the center. On his backhand, McCarron played one into the Duck zone, into the near left corner, and it'll be behind the goal. Throwing it up as Hines. Up to center, it'll roll. Could be a 2-on-1 if Gronlund could get there. Does on the far left wing, trying to get past Middleton, but he took him to the outside and forced a pass that got poked away by Wallstead. To the right point, Ian Moore will send it back down. Wild possess it once more. As now Trennan sends it out, and 7:40 going remaining here in the first period. As now up through centers Lacombe again for Ian Moore on the near side. Trying to feed Washi in to the Wild zone. It's cut off though by Tarasenko. Thrown back now to center. Trouba on the far wall. Ian Moore backhanded it deep from in front of the benches. Behind the net, it's thrown up on the far wall by Fabry for Petrie. Petrie now up ahead, a down and outer for Urov in front of the Duck bench. Threw it up on the far wall for Tarasenko, but it's intercepted by Lacombe. Now out the center comes Vetrano. He'll circle back now as he doesn't like what he sees and heads to change. Trouba now on the right side, put a pass on the blade of Gauthier. Dropped it in front of the penalty boxes for Paling, who shoots it in. From the trapezoid, it's played up and out by Wallstead. And now the Ducks will have to try again. John Carlson, pass straight away, tipped in by Gauthier. Into the near corner of the Wild zone, it's picked up by Kierstead. Thrown up the near wall now for Johansson. Played it out to the logo for Urov. Shot it right off the far wall into the Duck zone. Grabbed by Minchikov as he parks behind his own net with 6:36 to go. First period of play, 1-0 Anaheim. As the puck's turned over at center, the Wild toss it back into Anaheim ice, but Minchikov again threw it on the far wall for Gauthier. Pass went off a Wild skate into the Wild zone, as the Ducks will make a change, and he'll blow in a tire here as Viking Gustafsson Nyberg in his defensive zone. But nobody around him is the best name in hockey. Now throws it across to his defense partner Kierstead. Now gets it back. Played it straight ahead, tipped it to the Duck zone by Johansson, and it appears to have brought the Wild are 20 wins with one regulation loss in their last 21 games against the Ducks. That's sickening, to be honest, as they've owned this Anaheim franchise. As they force a turnover and in the O-zone, here's Nick Foligno down low for Marcus Johansson. Tried a no-look pass on the near side for Hunt. It deflected back to Johansson as Mojo now goes on the far wing up high to Brodin straight away. Bounced off his skate and on the near wall trying to clear were the Ducks, but Terry had trouble with it as it's riding it to the near corner for Foligno. He tried to play it across crease for Hunter Haight, but he couldn't connect, and the Ducks have time here in their own zone as the Wild and the Ducks forward core changes them up. So Mikael Granlund back on the ice now, had a noticeable first period, played it straight away for Vetrano into the Wild zone. Near side, backhanded it down low. Petrie trying to play it off his blade, got it at least to Middleton, and now up the near wall, Jones lost it, got it back as Trouba lost it, as now out to center's Abe Kubel, over the Duck line, dropped it on the far wall, pass was intended for Petrie, but instead it's picked up by Fabry, as his backhander got deflected, and on the near side, the Ducks are out to center, Gronlund snap pass right into the zone, Seneca had to jump off his blade, goes to the near corner now, Petrie one-armed it up the wall, not out, take away Gronlund, right in is Killorn, and a snapshot shut down with the blocker by Wallstead. Killorn back up to the point. It's controlled by Lacombe. Slid it this way for Trouba. Trouba a shot off the end boards. Came to the far wall. Carlson out of the corner on his backhand. From low to high. Left it at the left wing circle. Grabbed by Seneca. Back at Seneca. Straight away now at the blue line. Leaving it at the point. Walking it now is Lacombe. Back to Seneca. Right wing circle. Back to Lacombe. He got his stick lifted by McCarron and couldn't get a shot free. As in the far corner, Seneca picks up that puck again. Tried to put it in the slot. Fanned on the pass, but Gronlund got it. Now a pass towards Lacombe's deflected by Abe Kubel, and the Wild are out. No, it's shot back into Anaheim ice by Abe Kubel. Doesn't want to change as he goes after it behind the Anaheim goal line with Michael McCarron. Lacombe and Gronlund trying to dig it out for the Ducks. Came behind the trapezoid to the near side. Trouba put it up the wall. Kept in by Nyberg. Now across Kubel. A pass for Sturm. Went wide on the one-timer. Trickled back in front. Bouncing puck. Left wing circle. Going to be grabbed by the Ducks on the near side. Thrown up and out as it's now deflecting into the Minnesota zone with under 4 minutes left. here in period one, and a turnover by the Wild goes out of the zone as Moore thought he was onside when he came scorching in. And with that, that'll send us to one last break here in the first period, 3:38 remaining, as the Ducks lead it 1-0 over the Minnesota Wild. OBS disconnected. Are we reconnected? I think we're all good. I'm going to check the stream to make sure we're good, but I just got the notification on my computer that said disconnected, but it looks like we're back and all good, as that has nothing to do with weather yet, but there is weather expected in my area starting at some point during the next period. I don't know if I believe what the radar is suggesting yet, but we'll see if it happens during this game or not. Nonetheless, back underway in the final 3.5 minutes of this first period, as the best name in hockey, Viking Gustafsson Nyberg rings it around the Duck goal. I can't even get that name out right yet. That's such a mouthful. As at the far right wing circle, Yurov, a shot squeaks through! Wild get the equalizer as Daniel Yurov ties it at 1. So Yurov, the top-line center in tonight's game, gets goal 12 on the season for him, as it was a nice pass from out of the far corner by Tarasenko, as he was getting worked around in behind, but he was able to get it through a pair of Duck defensemen, as at the far right wing circle, the snapshot by Yurov leaks through Dostal. It was a soft one given up. And the Wild with the equalizer here in the first, as that'll also make for a nice clip as we discuss Gustafsson Nyberg's name right before that happened as best name in hockey. I'll mention it a lot tonight. But the Wild tie it here at 1 in this first period, thanks to Daniel Yurov from Tarasenko. Now right wing circle in the Wild zone, a shot by Carlson. Leo Carlson, that is, got blockered away by Wallstead. Now back again at the right wing circle. Helleson tried a shot that got blocked to the far wall. Ducks here trying to get this one back quickly. Down low, the pass from Viel finds Terry. Played back to the far left wing. Pinching and activating is Hines in behind. Played it around to the near wall. Helleson again. Back to the near wall. It's Viel dropping it down low. Behind it'll be one-armed by Terry. Back to Leo Carlson. Right wing circle. Fed it across back door. Couldn't hit Hines with the pass. Hines does have it though on the far left wing boards. Tried a shot blocker down by Wallstead. Came to the far corner. Yurov spins with it. Sends it up the left wing. And it deflects to center. It won't roll far enough for icing, so Helleson will have to play it. 2:20 remaining now in this first period. Tied at 1. Ducks and Wild. Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Jaric Rubel with you. Is back over the Wild line comes Seneca. Dropped it. Grounded in the slot. Got poke checked by Middleton. And now back up the near side comes Trennan. Over the red line. Now the Duck blue. It's passed to McCarron. Split through Lacoman. A shot. Saved Dostal with the blocker. Rebound to the far right wing. A blast by Petrie. Deflects in behind. Glove down in the near corner by Trennan. A reverse hit there on Groundland as Trennan takes him down. As Trennan comes into this game with an absolute boatload of hits, as he has 411 and counting. That's the second most in league history since hits have been tracked. Kiefer Sherwood set the record last year, as now the Ducks back in, and at the right point, Trouba, a shot gloved on the short side by Wallstead. And now Seneca here's in a headlock courtesy Jeff Petrie, who now, it's truly a headlock too. You'd think he's about to give him a WWE DDT. And now the linesman here trying to separate them, Ben O'Quinn and Brandon Grillo. as we're down to a minute 40 here in this first period. We'll see if any penalties come to these two. Don't believe there will, but Wallstead here had to make a good glove stop, as never mind, it wouldn't have made the net or hit the net from that Trouba shot. As a good look at the replay here showed it would have missed to the near post by a good margin, but the face-off here will stay inside the Minnesota defensive zone. It looks like a penalty is going to be issued out here to Jeff Petrie and Beckett Seneca, as we're going to go 4-on-4 here in this one. So we'll put that onto the score sheet as Seneca and Petrie each sit 4-on-4 here for the next 2 minutes. I learned if I make it a minute 59, it'll pop up on the screen. So there we go. 4-on-4 here, as now Wallstead's trying to explain his case to the referees, who the referees tonight are Kelly Sutherland and Carter Sandlack, and it's Carter Sandlack having this conversation with Wallstead, as it'll be 4 skaters aside though for this one. Face-off coming up to Wallstead's left. The Ducks here outscoring teams 4-0, 4-on-4 this year. The Minnesota Wild also 1 goal for, 3 against, so they're not great 4-on-4. The Ducks can be, and the Wild win a D-zone draw, but they're going to turn it over miserably there by Brodin. Wasn't even one of the stray players. It was a main roster guy at the far left wing. Here's John Carlson centering for Cutter Gauthier. Got blocked, and the Wild will get it back. Now Jonas Brodin with a shot at redemption in the final 80 seconds of this period. Looking to play it up on the near wing. Keeps it himself at the moment. Now dropped it off in front of his own blue paint for Marcus Johansson. He glides up through center, gets all 3 lines into the Duck zone. Left wing, poke checked by Cutter, came to the right wing boards, and now picked up Johansson again, cutting to the slot. Shot save made Dostal, rebound in front. Now it's covered by Dostal as John Carlson could not field that cleanly, and the goaltender decided to put a paw on it. So 58.6 to go after that whistle. A minute 18 to go on the 4-on-4 time between the Ducks and the Wild, as the faceoff here will come up to the left of Lukáš Dostal. Again, under a minute to go here in this first period, as these two teams are tied at 1. So now it looks like a conversation going on here at the Wild bench, but it looks like just a change being made. So now Yurov and Tarasenko step on, as well as Gustafsson, Nyberg with Kierstead on the back end. And off the draw, Anaheim's able to win it thanks to Ryan Poehling, as Lacomb's out here now with Trouba, as Jackson Lacombe, an Eden Prairie, Minnesota native, played 4 seasons as well at the University of Minnesota. Had a pass intended for Terry, get blocked, but it came back to him as Yurov shattered his stick, as now here's Lacombe through center on the right wing for Terry over the line. Skates between the circles, tries a shot off the right shoulder of Wallstead, and his own man, Tarasenko, ran into him. Meanwhile, Yurov on the far wall played it back this way, and now here's Nyberg taking a look, and he'll go across, and it'll be played by Kierstead. Kierstead in the final 25 of the period in his own zone for the Wild. Up the right wing for Vladimir Tarasenko in one stride over the Duck line. Poke checked by Lacombe. Puck now taken by Leo Carlson. Dashing up with it straight away. Gliding over the red. Now the Wild blue dropped to Terry. Creates space in between the circles. Snapped it far wing into the skates of the defenseman. It goes, and the backhand by Hines went wide. And now a stoppage here is Leo Carlson was in the blue paint on one knee. And is there going to be a penalty coming up here? It looks like there is, as Kelly Sutherland's calling a trip. And with 4.6 seconds to go in this first period, as we get a look at the replay, it'll be Jacob Middleton taking a seat here for the Minnesota Wild. So it'll be a 4-on-3 power play here now for 24 seconds for the Anaheim Ducks. They have 4 seconds to work with in this period before we get to the intermission, as the faceoff here will be to the right of Jesper Wallstead. Gronlund for this draw with Leo Carlson out there with Cutter Gauthier set up in one-timer position. John Carlson on the far wing up against McCarron for this draw, and McCarron wins it clean. That'll send us to intermission as it's hammered around the boards and down the ice, as it's tied at 1 here through 20 minutes of play tonight. Goals in this one. The Anaheim Ducks opening the scoring, as on the power play, Mason McTavish got his 16th of the year, as he was able to go far glove side on Jesper Wallstead. The assists on that belonging to Jackson Lacombe and Ryan Poehling. And then for the Wild, Daniela Yurov with his 12th of the year from Tarasenko is a bit of a softie for Dostal to give up, but it leaked through his left arm and past the goal line just enough to tie the game at 1. And when tied through 20 minutes this year, the Minnesota Wild have a record of 16-4-5. The Anaheim Ducks own a record of 17 4-1. 20 seconds of 4-on-3 power play time, and then a minute 40 seconds of regular power play time for the Anaheim Ducks when that expires at the start of period 2. When we return right here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube page, you're tuned in to an NHL Watchalong from Minnesota with Jaric Rubel. The Wild and the Anaheim Ducks tied at 1 through 20 minutes here tonight. Welcome back in for the start of the second period, live from Minnesota, where the Wild and Anaheim Ducks are tied at 1 through 20 minutes of play. Shots were 11-6 Anaheim in that first period. The goals: Mason McTavish's 16th of the year for the Ducks from Lacombe and Paling on the power play, and Daniel Yurov his 12th of the year from Vladimir Tarasenko. That's the goal scoring in this one. The Ducks will begin with 20 seconds of a 4-on-3 power play here in period 2, and then that'll carry on over to a regular 5-on-4 power play once those 20 seconds expire. As we get set here for the middle frame. In the middle frame, the Wild attacking left to right, and in this second period, Anaheim will go right to left. Again, Anaheim in their road white uniforms with the orange shoulders, as well with the orange pants with the black and white stripes on the side, orange numbers and lettering as well, with gold and a black trim. The nameplates are fully black lettering, and meanwhile the Minnesota Wild in their regular home green jerseys with green pants and green helmets with the light beige lettering and numbers with the red trim surrounding them. So a good first period between these two as the Ducks are battling for 2 points, trying to get to the top of the Pacific Division, at least try and garner home ice over Edmonton. If they're able to do that, the best they could finish is the best Edmonton can finish is with 93 points. So if the Ducks win these next two games, they will pass them with 94. And if Vegas loses in regulation tomorrow and the Ducks win these next two games, then the Ducks will win the Pacific Division with 94 points. So we'll see what happens. The Wild here just playing for exercise with the depth they got out there, trying to prove to head coach John Hines that they are belonging in the Game 1 lineup. So we'll see how this second period goes as we're ready for face-off here in this middle frame. Again, the penalties issued out were to Seneca and Petrie for a cross-check and a rough, and then Middleton with 5 seconds left in the period for a trip. That's what sent the Ducks to a 4-on-3 power play as it was already 4-on-4. And the Ducks 4-on-3 this year do have a goal scored for. The Wild have not given up a goal 3-on-4, but right off the draw, here comes Lacombe in on the far wing, trying to stuff it past the right pad of Wallstead. Couldn't, as that was helter-skelter right off the draw. As the Ducks possess here in the Wild zone, far circle, here's Gauthier looking for a tip from Poiling skate, couldn't get it. Now straight away at the point here is Lacombe. Lacombe now as the penalty time expires on the 4-on-4, gave it to McTavish, left wing circle, a shot, blocker down by Wallstead, rebound to the near corner, behind the goal, Poiling, played it to Gauthier, far right wing. Cutter Gauthier surveys his options, goes to the point, Lacombe, slid it this way, McTavish, the power play goal already tonight, goes across, and a one-timer by Gauthier, goes off the side of the net, back across to the far point, between the circles, Lacombe, right wing circle, Gauthier, left point, now it's McTavish skating between the circles straight away. At the blue line, gave it to Lacombe. Straight away, backhanded it to McTavish. Far right wing circle. Shooting one off a skate. Came to Lacombe on the near wing. Settles it down. Played it down low. Alex Killorn looking for a man in front. Poiling's in the bumper. Doesn't give it to him. Far right wing corner. It's Cutter Gauthier. Under a minute now to go on the power play. As at the point, here's McTavish to Gauthier. Far right wing circle. Ducks looking for a shot. They're boxed out at the moment. Here's Lacombe. Far point. A shot blocked to the far corner by Kierstead. Wild trying to clear it. Came to Ben Jones. He has space. He'll send it down the ice. And the Ducks must retreat. So 33 seconds left here on this man advantage for Anaheim. 90 seconds gone by in the second period as Jackson Lacombe drops it back off. And here comes Troy Terry now at the logo. Will drop it for Leo Carlson. Glides through into the far circle, trying to drive to the goal, and a save made by Wallstead. Poked up to the point, kept in to the near side. It's Gronlund. Back across John Carlson to Leo at the far corner. Leo circles his options here at the far circle. Up top now John Carlson. His shot deflected into the near corner off Seneca. At the right wing circle, or left wing I should say. Terry is shot deflected off Damon Hunt, out of play as penalty time expires. And the Wild survive that Anaheim push to begin the second period. So 13 saves on 14 shots for Jesper Wallstedt, and he's been tested quite a bit by this Anaheim team. Just 6 shots still for the Wild, as they've yet to put one on net in the second period, but they've been shorthanded for the whole second period, so it makes sense. As a faceoff now comes up to the right of Jesper Wallstedt. Urhoff against Mikael Gronlund for the draw. Gronlund pulled it back. Seneca controls to the far wing. Dropped it off. One-timer by John Carlson. Deflected to the far corner. Seneca back on it. Skating through the trapezoid to the near side. Left wing circle. Played it up to the point. Minchikov gave it back. Seneca trying to protect. Got stick checked. Came up to Minchikov at the blue line, who can't hold it in. And now the Ducks reset at center. In their own zone now at the blue line. It's played up ahead. Seneca straight into the Wild zone. Left it in the left wing at the circle for Killorn, who button hooks. Being defended by Urhoff. Knocked him off the puck. As the Wild now up the near wing have Bobby Brink past the penalty boxes. Shot one into the Anaheim zone. Behind is Dostal to stick it up the near side. Came out to the blue line. Killorn will send it down. And now here's Minnesota rekindling in their own end as both teams make changes with 17:20 to go in the second period. On the near wing, it's Middleton to Petrie. He'll shoot it into the Anaheim zone. Around the dasher it went. Out to center it rolled. And now on the far wing, here's Vetrano getting possession into the Wild zone. Backhanded in the slot. More a whack. Got blocked and out of the near side it goes. And carried up by Petrie, and his backhand will go on the far side for Middleton. Can't fully clean it. The Ducks will send it back in on the far wall. Ian Moore gets taken down into the corner by Urhoff, as now in the far corner it came back to Moore. Moore lost it. Petrie took it. On the near side it's up to Nick Foligno. Now, Nick Foligno, ex-captain of the Chicago Blackhawks and Columbus Blue Jackets, sent it across to Urov, who shot it in. The Wild will change. Dostal having trouble handling it. Lost it in front. It goes, and it's pinballing around to the near circle as Dostal, with a bad turnover, almost cost it. As the Wild here, we're inches away from taking the lead. Foligno's pass back to the point, missed a sliding Damon Hunt trying to keep it in, and now it's back in Minnesota ice where he must reset. Left it in behind in his own net for Jonas Brodin, slid it up the left wing, and it's shot in by Foligno to the near side, tracked by Mojo. Marcus Johansson behind the goal, Hunter Haight to the far corner, down to our right, it's Foligno. Up to the blue line, Hunt, slid it this way, pirouetting's Brodin, back to Hunt, straight away to the far circle, it's Sturmfresh on his shot, paddled down by Dostal, rebound behind, Hunt a wraparound, save with the left pad, Dostal again, rebound to the trapezoid once more, it's going to be gloved on the side of the net now by Dostal, and with 4:06 played in this second period, he takes a whistle, and the faceoff comes up to his left. And Dostal, he's tied for 5th among all NHL goalies in wins with 30, tied for 8th in appearances with 55, and 11th in saves as he's made 1,350 of them. Won his 30th game of the season against the Sharks last week, the 6th goaltender in Duck history with a 30-win season, and the first since John Gibson in 2017-18. Faceoffs won to his left by the Ducks. Mikael Granlund gets as far as the red line, though, on the clear before the Wild turn it back in. It'll be played around to the near side as McCarron will play it back around the goal, taken by Seneca. And now up to the logo. Granlund will backhand it over the Wild line. Taken back by Kierstead, though. Put out to center and chipped into the Duck zone for McCarron to chase after. Played away from him by Dostal. Rode up the far wall, and at the logo, it's grabbed by Seneca over the Wild line. Button hooks on the far right wing. Being watched here by Sturm. Played it down low, but it's intercepted by the Viking, Gustafsson Nyberg. And now a backhand pass will roll out to center, as it's very fitting. Gustafsson Nyberg, the Viking here in Minnesota, is a part of the Wild with the Minnesota Vikings just at the Twin City over in Minneapolis. Oh, perfect for the Minnesota Wild to draft that guy, as now the Ducks here in their own zone almost turn it over as Killorn got checked by Trennan and lost the puck, but it came around the goal, and it's going to be sent down the ice for an icing instead here now with 14:49 to go after Leo Carlsson played it down. So a reminder, I'll be back with you on Thursday. Which game it'll be, I do not know yet. And overall on Sunday and Saturday, we'll wait to see which Stanley Cup playoff games we get at 1 Eastern and 2 Eastern on Saturday and Sunday. We'll see if the Ducks have anything to play for on Thursday. That's likely the game I'd bring you guys, Ducks and Predators, if the division is up for grabs. Back behind the Anaheim net, the Wild trying to score as a short side attempt from the far side by Brink got blocked by John Carlson. Puck now on the far left wing for Middleton to play down low. Going to be collected by Brink. Tried to play it back up to the point. It's poked away. Leo Carlsson has a chance now on the far right wing as Petrie to beat. Drives past him to the goal, and a good back check by Petrie. Could not allow Carlsson to pull it back to the forehand, as now the Wild on the near side in their own zone get possession back. Tarasenko twists one up ahead. Petrie at the logo glides to the far wall, and on his backhand played it deep into Anaheim territory where Hines is back on it. So 14 minutes remaining in this second period, still tied at 1. Jaric Rubel with you on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. And on the left wing at the circle, Carlsson, a far side shot snared with the glove by Wallstead. And he'll take us to a break with 13:55 remaining in the second period. Still knotted up at a goal apiece here in St. Paul. Ducks and Wild on the Ultimate Sports Media channel. back in Minnesota, where the Wild and Ducks are tied here at a goal apiece. Mason McTavish and Daniela Yuroff with the goals in this game. Jaric Rubel, so glad you've joined me for the final Tuesday night hockey of the regular season. Been with you just about every Tuesday this regular season. I think maybe only one or two that I've missed. And I think the one that I did miss was a late game between the Panthers and the Ducks back in early November. And that game never happened. But other than that, I don't think I've missed a Tuesday in this entire NHL season. So pat myself on the back. Shout out consistency as now we resume play here with under 14 minutes to go in the second period. Puck here down to our right, where it'll be Hines on the near side. Up ahead for Troy Terry. Glides over the red line. Now the Wild blue between the circles. Fed it down low. Carlson a shot. Right kick pad save made by Wallstedt. Up between the circles. The puck found Hines. His long wrister up to the far corner. Grabbed by Trennan. He won't clear, but now a good poke check by Sturm will get out. And the Ducks will retreat back once again. Here's Hines behind his own net. Up the near side with a quick pass. Deflected by VL, but grabbed by Trennan as he'll go back in his own zone as he gives it to Kierstead. Goes across now to Gustafsson Nyberg, who shoots it in from the left wing at the red line. Behind the Duck goal, Dostal tried to play it again, went off the skate of Hines, as I think Dostal should stop trying to play the puck at the moment. As behind his net, here's McCarron, getting tied up with Groundlin and Hellison. Hellison trying to move it up the far wall, but Hunt kept it, and it goes back behind the Duck goal. Hines will try and move it. Up the left wing it'll go. Shot off the glass by VL. It won't get out yet. Now moved past a man of... thanks to Groundlin. That was Fabry. Now Fabry just got bulldozed by VL. Should have been an interference call as he did not have the puck, but no call. As now Ben Jones circling behind the Duck net, centered it in front. Fabry can't hold the feed. It trickles to Dostal, and he'll cover. 12:39 to go with that whistle. And a reminder as well, the NBA play-in, it starts today. No games on the channel today, but tomorrow we have a doubleheader. Pierre Moss will bring you Magic and 76ers. That watch-along begins at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And then Seth Eves has the Warriors and the Clippers at 10 p.m. Eastern to round out the doubleheader. So face-off here to the left of Dostal. It's won by the Anaheim Ducks, thanks to Washi. And from behind the goal, Lacombe put it up the far wall, but right at center, Fabry takes it, turns back in with it. Left it far left wing, Abe Kubels ran over by Ian Moore. Puck, though, in between the circles up top for Ben Jones. Played it left wing circle, in the skates of Abe Kubel, lost it. Moore back on it for the Ducks, played it out the center. Had to jump to get a deflected puck, can't grab it. Hunt played it on the near side for the Wild, over the line, Fabry. Got ran out the play there by Lacombe, and from behind his own net, Lacombe up the far wall. A puck gets poked in front of the Duck bench, and Petrie will collect and start back over for the Wild with 12 minutes remaining in this second period, tied 1-1 on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Left wing, Brodin glides in past McTavish, tried a shot, blocked by Trouba at the far dot. Now on the far side, it's Washi up ahead in front of the Wild bench. Got the red line, fanned on a dump in, taken back by Minnesota's Hunter Haight. Played now in their D zone right side, it's Petrie. Shot up ahead, deflected into the Duck zone, so no icing. As John Carlson hurried it up the far wing, turned it over to Johansson. Johansson in the slot. Haight can't grab it, neither can Petrie, as it's back out in front of the penalty boxes. 11.5 now to go in the second period. Petrie up ahead for Haight. Dropped it off for Middleton. Played up on the left wing now, deflected towards Dostal. He'll stick it behind for Lacombe now. An Olympic gold medalist who didn't see any ice time in Milan. No disrespect, just the truth behind that. Played it up the left wing. It's dropped by Paling for Cutter Gauthier. His shot went off the leg of Petrie to the far right wing in the Wild zone. Middleton will shoot it back out to center. Plops right at the red line at the logo. Came this way. Minchikov back up the left wing for Cutter. Cutter left wing, and a shot gets denied, but he didn't take it as the whistle went. And I don't think it was an offsides. Was it a penalty perhaps coming up on the Ducks? Or it is offsides, as Cutter's now saying who's off. And I kind of agree with him. I didn't see where the far wing skater was offsides, but the linesmen have a much better vantage point than I do, being on the ice with these guys, and they're hired to make the call, so I'll take their word for it. Face-off coming up here to neutral ice with 11:02 to go here in the second period, as Buffalo and Anaheim had 2 of the 5 longest playoff droughts coming into this season, and they both clinch a spot here in the Stanley Cup playoffs. So now that leaves Chicago, I believe, with the longest playoff drought in the league, as I could be wrong on that, but I don't count the 2020 playoff berth, so to me it was 2017 the last time that team made it, and that's just off the top of my head. I could be wrong, but I believe it is them. Now that the Ducks and Sabres have made it, the Ducks made it more recently than the Hawks anyways in 2018, so that's that. In front of the penalty boxes now as we get back to action in the Grand Casino Arena. A puck goes behind the Wild net that the Viking plays up the far wall. Came out to the center ice logo where it's taken by Gronlund. Played in front of the penalty boxes now for Hines. Collects and carries over the Wild line. Dropped it left wing Seneca. He'll drop it for Gronlund. Creeps in left wing circle. Short side shot. Blockered away by Wallstead. Came up to the far wall. Hellison now try to pass. Take it away. Urov from the red line in. A breakaway for his second of the night. Save made with Dostal in the butterfly position as he got down to close the wickets. Now the Ducks back up the left wing through center. Killorn for Gronlund to shoot one into the far corner of the Wild zone. Behind the goal, it's played by Hunt to the near side, Brodin. Brodin wearing an A on his sweater. Up to the near side for McCarron, who shoots it on in. Trennan will get it in the near corner. Played it through the trapezoid. It's bumped around and taken by Trouba now. As Trouba played a pass straight away intended for Viel. It missed everybody. And this one will go for an icing. So 9:43 to go with that stoppage in play as Daniel Urov had an opportunity here to get his second goal of the game on the breakaway. He's already had 2 points in this season series against him. He scored in each of the first 2 games against the Ducks, so he's got 3 goals in 3 games against him. Was looking for his 4th, but was denied on the breakaway by Dostal. Ducks win a D-zone draw, but they can't clear as it's kept straight away by McCarron. Shot went off the end boards. It'll be covered by Dostal. And that'll send us to another break. 9:37 to go. Second period of play. 1-1 your score in St. Paul. Wild and Ducks on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Jaric Rubel back with you in Minnesota, where the Wild and Ducks are tied at 1 through the first half of this game here tonight. Fun fact about this one, I didn't know this until I just looked at Twitter, as Jesper Wallstedt has his name spelled wrong on the back of his jersey. It should be spelled Wallstedt. Instead, in the jersey today, it's spelled Wallstad. And I wonder, as people on Twitter are also wondering if that's a Marc-Andre Fleury prank, an honest mistake, or what, as I don't know if Flowers in the building tonight or anything, but that is definitely interesting in the final home game of the season that something of that occurrence happens to a Minnesota goalie who definitely learned under Fleury while he was here for a couple of seasons. As now we get back to play with 9:37 to go in the second period. Face off to the right of Dostal. Off the tie-up between Washi and McCarron. The Ducks put it up on the far wall, but the Wild will take back over. On the near side, Kierstead shot it off the skate of Trennan. Went behind the Duck goal. Now Trouba played it up for Washi. Washi skating past the benches. Backhanded one past everyone. This should go for an icing. It will. And with 9:19 to go, we'll have another stoppage in play. And Jesper Wallstedt, speaking of the guy, owns a 8-3-4 record against teams currently in playoff positioning, and that's through games played by April 12th, leads the NHL with a .930 save percentage against such teams and a .920 save percentage with 2 shutouts in 17 road starts this year. As overall, no matter where he's played, I know this game's in this building, he's been great as he ranks second in the NHL with a .915 save percentage with minimum 10 starts. So an ozone draw for the Wild to the right of Dostal. 1 played down behind the goal by Nyberg for Foligno. Nick Foligno up to the right point for Kierstead. Send it across to the Viking. Now down low it's Mojo behind the goal for Nick Foligno. Now it's Mojo again up top the Viking. Send it this way for Kierstead. Kierstead will play it behind the goal. Pool cued around by Foligno to Mojo. Back behind Foligno can't play it in the trapezoid. Now Kierstead got it at the point. Dropped it off for Haight at the right side. Haight now on the near side and Kierstead backhanded one through the blue paint. Ian Moore trying to get it, can't clear. Johansson to keep. Down low it's Foligno trying to center. Haight in the slot. A shot. Bar down. Bang! 2-0 Wild and a shot that goes bar down from Hunter Haight. The Ducks couldn't clear their zone. The Wild make them pay, and they lead it 2-1. So Hunter Haight gets his first goal here of the season as Nick Foligno set him up beautifully between the dots and he went bar down as he capitalizes here, and that's his first NHL goal as they go and get that puck for him. As congrats to the kid in game 82, his 9th career game. As I've broadcasted a few of those games already, as I thought he'd been around for a lot longer than just 9 games, but he gets his first career NHL goal, and he's all smiles on the Minnesota Wild bench. So we resume play with Minnesota up 2-1 now on home ice with a shortened lineup over the Ducks, who are in a massive funk trying to get 2 points to make sure they don't get a bad matchup in the Stanley Cup playoffs. As now a big round of applause here for Hunter Haight as the announcement comes over the PA for his first NHL goal, as he gets a very thunderous applause here at Grand Casino Arena, as now the Wild are back in with the puck rolling towards Dostal. He'll cover with 8:02 to go in the second period. So congrats to Hunter Haight. First NHL goal for him in his 9th career game, as he had 1 assist prior heading into tonight. Is he still all smiles here on the Minnesota bench getting talked to? As now something being Jay Woodcroft, assistant coach here of the Anaheim Ducks, talking things over with the other assistant on the bench, Tim Army, as they're trying to discuss things here, as the Ducks might be in pure panic mode here. They sure clinched a playoff spot, but would they even win a game is the question with the current form they're in, and they definitely need something to snap back into place to try and get their game back to form. So they win a D-zone draw, but they end up icing it here. So we're going to have to do this all over again to the right of Dostal, as Coach Q does not seem happy here on this Anaheim bench. One of the winningest coaches in NHL history, as he joined Scotty Bowman with 1,000 wins, as Bowman has 1,244. Is the only coaches in NHL history to reach the milestone. Won 4 cups, including 3 as head coach in Chicago with the Blackhawks, and he's leading the Ducks to the playoffs here in his first year, but current form not great, as off a face-off to the right of Dostal, one-timer right on, comes right back to his glove, and another ozone draw coming up for the Wild with 7:50 to go here in period number 2. If you're new to the stream, make sure to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and turn the bell notifications on so you'll be notified when all of these playoff games go live. It starts Saturday right here on the Ultimate Sports Media channel at 2 Eastern, as I'll be with you for the very first game of the Stanley Cup playoffs. So this time, Ducks win a D-zone draw to the left of their goaltender, Dostal. Cutter Gautier's hustling up the far wing, cutting to the slot, trying a shot, and it deflects off a skate. It goes out of play. And with 7:39 to go in the second period, this one will stay in the offensive zone for Anaheim this time, as the faceoff will now come all the way to our left. So shots in this period for Anaheim, they have 6 so far. Meanwhile, the Minnesota Wild have 8. One of them has gone in thanks to Hunter Height after a rough turnover by the Ducks in their own zone makes them pay. And now off the draw here to the right of Wallstedt, it's one. Lacombe goes across. Trouba, flip shot deflected to the near side. Now Abe Kubel trying to grasp at it for the Wild. Can't as it rolls behind the Wild cage. Gauthier left it in the corner, but getting tied up was Groundley with Petrie, and he couldn't get the puck. As now on the near side, it's up ahead for Ben Jones. Goes rink wide onto the blade of Fabry. He'll play it far wing into the Duck zone. Getting after it in the far corners, Abe Kubel. Lacombe took him out of the play, though, as the puck rings around the goal to the near side. Petrie pinching keeps it alive. Played it off the side of the net. It deflects now to the far corner. Reverse check here by Abe Kubel. Trying to center a puck. Doesn't quite get to Ben Jones. As now the Ducks play it up and Paling's on the far right wing. Dropped it over the Wild line. It came to McTavish with a shot and a right pad save. Wallstedt follow-up try. Couldn't get a good shot away. As now behind the Wild net, it's taken by Petrie. Under 7 minutes to go in the second period. As Middleton now through center will flip one into the near corner of the Duck zone. Down to our right, it's picked up by John Carlson. Left it on the near side for Lacombe. Turned it over. He had trouble with it as McCarron goes back behind the Duck goal line. Trying to play it away is John Carlson from Trenton. Got it successfully to Leo. As now up on the left wing, it's VL. Tied up, taken down by Sturm. Delayed offsides if Leo went in. Blew a tire. Now McCarron poked it back to the Duck zone. Here's Dostal. Shot it right out of play. That's just brutal. As that's going to send the Ducks shorthanded as Lucas Dostal just shot that one clean out of play. And Q, look on his face as I just can't believe what I'm watching right now. It's not even one of those looks. He's just like, what's going on at this point? Q's just not pleased, and it's not an angry look. It's not a very confused look. It's just a very WTF kind of look in a disappointed way, not a mad way, as I think Q's just kind of learned here that this team's fate has not been great over the last couple of weeks, and now they're going to go shorthanded here as Dostal has taken a penalty. No power play, though. Has been okay, there we go. Power play graphic now put on the screen as it took a minute. I was worried I was going to make a fool of myself here again. But 4 skaters only on the ice for the Ducks, 5 for the Wild. As now Mason McTavish will be the one to serve this penalty with 6:21 to go in this second period. Face off to the right of Dostal, won by Urov against Paling. To the back, it's Brodin. On the far wall, it's bouncing off the blade of Tarasenko, but trying to cut him off is Trouba. Puck goes behind the goal. Along the dasher, it's played by Johansson up on the near side for Brodin. Has trouble with it. Take it away, Paling. Left side, Ducks have numbers into the Wild zone. Dropped off Minchikov. A shot shorthanded. Save made by Wallstedt. Minchikov now will play it back in his own zone for Killorn to try and kill off some more clock. As now he'll backhand one as far as the red line. It's cut off by Urov. Twisted on the near side. Tarasenko collects over the Duck line. On his backhand, protects to the corner. Around the goal, he sent it on the backhand to the far wall. Killorn's on it. Sandwiched up against the glass by Urov. As the Wild try and get it back, they keep it in. As Urov touches it to the near side, it's inside the blue line for Brodin. 76 seconds to go on the power plays in the near corner. Tarasenko on the near side trying to collect was Brink down beneath the circle. Backhanded it up along the right wing for Johansson. Now straight away Brodin goes back this way Johansson, and he'll give it back. Brodin straight away slid it left wing for Tarasenko. Fanned on a pass as it rolls on the right side for Johansson. Now straight away Brodin in the slot. Poked this way for Johansson. Tapped down low now for Brink. Has to collect on a poke check by Washi. Came back to Washi. And the Ducks will get it clear as they try and hurry and get a change. Wallstedt wants to play it ahead, but it doesn't get hurried as the Wild are changing as well. 40 seconds left on their man advantage. So second unit coming over the boards as Brodin left it for Nick Foligno. He'll leave it off for Hunter Haight. Fresh off his first NHL goal over the Duck line. Tried to feed it for Trenton. Kept it. Played it down low. Trouba quickly send it back out though. As down the ice it rolls. Final 25 of this Wild power play now. So here comes Damon Hunt. Gliding in his own zone past the benches, dropped it off at his own blue line. Haight touched it far wing. Foligno left it over the line for Trenton to send down low. Behind the Duck goal line to our right. Big dugout by Nick Foligno. Far corner, Trenton will give it back to Foligno. Behind the goal line, it's backhanded up to the left point, grabbed by Hunt. Penalty time now up. Out of the box comes McTavish, who served the penalty on Dostal. As down to our right, it's still behind the Duck goal line. McCarron trying to shake off Hines. Came up the near wall. ball, kept by Hunt, grabbed by the Ducks' Leo Carlson, and up the near side's McTavish, has numbers the other way. Drop past Leo, has a man across, got it to him, but it was in the skates of Gronlund, as now the Wild on the counterattack with under 4 minutes to go in the second. Trennan tried to feed it to McCarron over the line. The Ducks again 2-on-1. Leo Carlson, left wing, in with a shot and a shoulder save by Wallstead. Rebound plopped down. Hellison a try, slipped on the ice, came back to him in the near corner. In that near corner, backhanded across for McTavish in the far quarter down to our left. Trade spots with Leo Carlson. Circles it up high now at the left point for Hellison. Hellison walking back to Leo at the far right side. A shot goes off the side of the net. Terry trying to find it behind the goal line. Got beat to it by Petrie. As Petrie can't clear it, soccered in and kept by Lacombe. Trying to tie up the stick of McCarron, couldn't, as it's moved along for Foligno. As now the Ducks have it bounce over their own blue line and try and take back over. Up the left wing, Lacombe's able to hit Terry onside. His drop pass, those cut off, and now Jaric has space up the right side over the Duck line. Cuts to the slot, to the backhand, and a save. Dostal as Lacombe here twice in this game's been danced around by Wild fourth liners. And both times has Dostal been able to bail him out. But 2-1 Wild here as we step aside in St. Paul as they were able to claim their first lead of the game on Hunter Haight's first NHL goal. Back in a moment in St. Paul. Jaric Rubel with you in Minnesota, fresh off a Hunter Haight first NHL goal. 2-1, the Wild lead it with 3 minutes left in the second period. Draw to the right of Dostal, won by the Ducks. Gronlund cleared out to center, but it's steered right back in by Anaheim Ducks. And behind the Ducks goal it'll go. It'll be parked in the trapezoid by Trouba, or John Carlson, I should say. Played it up the far wall. It gets to center, and now Carlson will get it back. John Carlson straight in over the Wild line with a shot that deflects off the stick of Viking Gustafsson Nyberg, and it goes out of play with 2:42 remaining in the second period. So I mentioned the upcoming hockey, I mentioned the upcoming NBA, gotta mention the upcoming NASCAR, as on Sunday, the NASCAR Advent Health 400 occurs in Kansas. 2 p.m. Eastern, as Matt Square will join you on the call for that one. And Sunday, April 26th, they head down to Talladega at 3 p.m. Eastern. Looking forward to both of those races right here on this Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. The racing does the best on this page. Face off here to the right of Wallstead. Paling able to beat Ben Jones clean as the Ducks control straight away. McTavish played it down low off a tough angle on the near side. Minchikov shot one off the side of the net. Came back to him left wing. Put it up top. McTavish again. Shot one that goes off the end boards. Minchikov will grab it out of the far corner. Left it actually for Cutter Gauthier, who then had it taken away, as I think that was a bad decision, as now the Wild have an opportunity to head out to center. Anaheim Ducks with a snap pass on the right wing. Into the zone comes Kierstead. One arms it behind the Duck goal line. Got upended by Minchikov. No call, as behind the goal still on the far wing, it's Ben Jones, touched it up to the point. Brodina's shot went off the skate of McTavish, came to the near side where John Carlson now has to shake free of Fabry. He'll get rid of him, put it up the near side. McTavish tipped it into the Wild zone as, I think he got a piece and they called icing, but the whistle does go with a minute 55 to go in the second period. So it'll come back into the Ducks defensive zone here after that icing whistle. So none of the big boys in the lineup here for the Minnesota Wild tonight, but they do have Yakov Trenin on the top line. I mentioned owns an NHL leading 411 hits on the season, a Wild single-season record, and the second highest single-season total since the league began tracking the stat in 2005-2006. Kiefer Sherwood leads it with 462 from a season ago. Wild control here down to our right in the O-zone following the Duck icing, but now it's cleared up on the near side as McTavish will slam it into Minnesota ice. It's another icing again here. I can't believe it. He was shy of the red line apparently as he was right in front of the penalty boxes when he sent it deep. And another whistle here with 98 seconds left in this second period. Wild up 2-1 here as the Ducks are just struggling to find any momentum in this game, as 2 points of any kind will help them out. And they're used to being in comeback mode, as this Anaheim Duck team regularly has set records in the comeback department. So they have the most comeback wins in the final 2 minutes of regulation this season with 6. And overall, they have 25 comeback wins, which are the second most in NHL this season, behind Montreal's 26. So we'll see here how they are down a goal in the final 21 and a half minutes of this game tonight as they get possession through center. Leo Carlson bobs and weaves his way through a pair of green sweaters into the right wing circle in the zone with a shot, and it's gloved and held easily by Jesper Wallstedt. As with a minute 18 to go in the second period, the Ducks have another O-zone draw coming right up. And also these Anaheim Ducks, they're the first team in NHL history to have won 11 straight games when overcoming a deficit that happened after the Olympic break here from February, or I should say that's not right at all, as the dates on that don't seem right, but it says Anaheim's the first team in NHL history to have 11 straight wins when overcoming a deficit in each game. But it says, I guess their last 11 wins is now it's starting to make sense to me here. Their last 11 wins have all been come from behind wins. They have not held on to a lead or been tied throughout the entire time at any point. They've trailed in pretty much all of their games since the Olympic break, which is not great, Captain, if you ask me. Now the Wild in their own defensive zone with under a minute to go in the second period. On the near side, Petrie will put it past the penalty boxes. Tipped in by Tarasenko. Thrown back up by Hines. Not out. Near circle. Urov put it deep again. Brink tries to whack it around. Behind the goal it goes to Vladdy. In that trapezoid. Looking for an option. Brink had it tip off his blade to the point for Petrie. Right side is played back to Tarasenko. Long shot going for the far post. Missed the net. Back on the far wall. Middleton shot. Deflects on the near side. Came to Petrie. Sent it back deep. In behind in the near corner to our right, it's Brink in the final half minute. Played it around the goal to Petrie. Petrie in between the circles. Right wing Tarasenko across Brink on the doorstep. You're off in a left pad save made by Dostal. Rebound to the near side. Picked up Middleton. Off an Anaheim skate. It rolls to the far wall. Now Helleson will turn with it. Play it behind his own net for Hines in the final 10 seconds of the second period. And Hines will move it up past the penalty boxes. It'll roll into Minnesota ice, and that'll do it for the second period tonight. So 2-1 Wild through 40 minutes in this game. The lone goal in the second period, Hunter Hates' first NHL goal from Nick Foligno and Marcus Johansson. Shots in that second period, 11 for the Minnesota Wild and 11 for the Anaheim Ducks. When leading through 2 periods this year, the Wild are 33-1-4. When trailing through 40 minutes this year, the Ducks are 4-25-4. So despite those comebacks I mentioned, a lot of them came when tied through 40 minutes. They're down tonight. They need 2 points to try and avoid a miserable playoff matchup in the first round, as the Oilers and Knights are rolling pretty good right now. Well, Oilers aren't, but I don't know if that's exactly this current form Anaheim Ducks team wants to see in the first round. And, of course, you would much rather play Utah, in my opinion, than either of those 2 behemoths. Or perhaps you fall to the wild card and LA passes you and you see Colorado, which certainly would not be great. So a lot of possibilities for the Ducks. They should want 2 points. We'll see how this third period goes for them, as you're listening to the Ducks and Wild with Jaric Rubel live right here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Second intermission with the Wild up 2-1 on home ice in their season finale. Welcome back to St. Paul, where the Wild lead the Anaheim Ducks 2-1 through 40 minutes of play. Jaric Rubel with you on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube page as we get set to begin the third period. Mason McTavish opened the scoring in this one for Anaheim on the power play, 16th of the year from Lacombe and Paling. Then Daniel Yurov got his 12th of the year from Tarasenko to tie it in the first. Then last time in the second period, Hunter Haight got his first NHL goal from Nick Foligno and Marcus Johansson bar down past Lukas Dostal. As in this third period, nothing up for grabs for the Wild as they're locked in to the 3 seed. They just want to send the home fans home happy here in their season finale before the playoffs. Meanwhile, the Ducks, they are looking to avoid losing 8 of their last 9. They don't want to fall to the second wild card spot as the Kings could pass them with a couple of wins here down the stretch, or just with a win tonight, I believe, if the Ducks lose this in regulation, and they could be staring down the barrel of the Colorado Avalanche in round number 1. Don't know how they'd fare in that matchup. So 2 points here tonight could definitely make your matchup easier. And perhaps if you get the help from Vegas on Wednesday, you could win the division Thursday with a total of 4 points here down the stretch. But they need 2 here tonight to be able to start that upswing. And we'll see if they could do it here in the third period. They have the most comeback wins in their second most comeback wins in the NHL this season with 25. Montreal has 26, and it's the second most in a single season behind the one in 2013-14 when they had 26 comebacks in this regulation period. So here we go, third period of play here from St. Paul. You're off against Gronlund for the draw, Wild attacking right to left, Ducks going left to right, and it's won by Gronlund. We're underway in this third period. Again, Jaric Rubel, glad you're with me. Final Tuesday night hockey of this regular season. So in between the benches, Bobby Brink will shoot one in for the Wild. It'll go behind the Anaheim net, where it'll be taken by Lacombe now. As Jackson Lacombe takes a look, goes up the far wing with it. It gets deflected into the Wild zone. It won't be icing. As in the near side, down to our right, it's Damon Hunt with it. Played it around the goal. Tarasenko one-armed it up the far side, and it rolls out the center. Trouba rekindles, goes this way to Killorn. Up the right wing, he skates over the Wild blue line, trying to dipsy-do on the right wing circle. Got behind the goal line, shouldered off a man, and left it in the side for Gronlund. Up to the point, Trouba, straight away Lacombe. Long shot, saved through traffic. Gronlund short side, shot down by Wallstead, as he was able to hold that post on the short side down to our right. And with 19:12 to go in the third, we get a stoppage in play. So if you're new to the stream, hit the like button on it, hit the subscribe button as well. Love to talk to you in the chat, and hit the bell notifications as well to know when we are live with all the multitude of voices we have on this channel. So it'll be me and Matt covering the Stanley Cup playoffs if you're a hockey guy, which if you're watching this, I'm sure you are. So I'm looking forward to that getting started on Saturday. So behind the Wild goal, the Ducks trying to get the equalizers. These 2 points could go a long way in their matchup being much nicer than it could be if they keep slumping here in these final 2 games, as LA's got Vancouver tonight and Calgary on Thursday. So 2 winnable games. Anaheim has Nashville on Thursday, as they're now eliminated from playoff contention as of last night are the Predators. And meanwhile, the Wild flip it back to center. Trennan is in behind the defense, trying to get there on the left wing, got ran into by the referee, Kelly Sutherland, and then tried to center for Nico Sturm, but he fanned out a one-timer. Leo Carlson now tried to activate on the left wing, but McCarron basically ran him out of racetrack, and the Wild get possession back. And taking over is Petrie in his own zone as his forwards change him up with 18:16 left in the third period. Pass up the far right wing, tipped in by Nick Foligno. Behind the goal, Dostal play it on the far side for Hines. Hines up the wall. Paling sends it this way for Gauthier. Right wing over the Wild line. Made Middleton fall. After it and behind, he poked it for VL. VL here in the trapezoid, giving it back to Gauthier, bounces around in the near corner, up to the right point, Hellison, slid it across, here's a shot by Hines, blocked off the skate of Nick Foligno to the far wall. Paling played it back around the Wild goal, came to the near side, Hellison back down low to the corner, Nick Foligno down to our right, lost it, taken away VL, in the trapezoid, shielding on his backhand, trying to give it to Paling, got it, centered it off the skate of Gauthier, and it deflects on the near side into the Wild seats, where all the fans are attending, and one lucky fan's going to get a souvenir to go home with. So 17:35 to go here in this third period following that stoppage in play. The faceoff here will likely go out to neutral ice as it went off a Cutter Gauthier skate before going out of play. No faceoff here should take place in front of the Anaheim bench. Looks like it won't, though, as it's going to stay in the zone. Don't know if that's the right call, but I'm also not an official in this league. So it's Washi against Fabry for this draw, as Fabry now not going to get tossed, steps back in there, and Washi wins a clean shot right on net off the stick of Paling, and now it came across now to the far side. Washi's trying to get back to it. Played it around the wild net to the near side. Ben Jones for Minnesota can't clear at the near circle. Vetrano on net. Short side save by Wallstead. Rebound to the near corner. Getting knocked into the boards was Ben Jones, and now a follow-up hit on the Viking by Washi. Meanwhile, behind the net, it's played up by the Wild to center. Abe Kubel shoot it in. Around the Duck goal it'll go. Stopped in the trapezoid and left for Trouba by Dostal. Now across Lacombe. Slid it up the left wing. Vetrano. Right wing, now it's collected by Washi. Touch to Trouba at the right wing circle. Back in front, deflected in front, and Wallstead's able to grab it and cover it as he snares it with the glove. 3:04 played so far in period number 3. Jaric Rubel here with you on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube page as the Minnesota Wild here getting ready for a first round date with the Dallas Stars. That'll either be Saturday or Sunday. My gut tells me that's either Saturday night in prime time or Sunday early in the morning at noon Central Time. We'll see what it ends up being, though, as it's the 12th playoff appearance since 2013 for the Wild. They've only won 2 series in that process, being in 2014 and 2015, as they're going to look to try and make it to the second round for the first time since 2015. They played it out to center off a D-zone draw win, but the Ducks right back on it, trying to press and get this tying goal. Out shooting Minnesota now 27-7. Already with 5 shots to Minnesota's 1 in this third period. Shot towards the net, save made, rebound, Seneca, and a beautiful left pad save made by Wallstead as the fans love it here in St. Paul. And now Killorn kept the puck in, batting it down, but it was grabbed by Brodin. And the Wild now to center, right brink on the far wall, Tarasenko. Shielding off Minchikov, tried to center it, came back to him at the far wall, but Minchikov will take it away. And behind the net now, John Carlson will leave it in the near corner, and Mikhail Granlund will drop it back to him. He's tied up. Yurov trying to take it away. And now the Ducks here scrambling in their own end. Granlund slid it up the far wall, as now here is Yurov taking it back at the Duck blue line. Shot it right out of play, as that ends up being a stoppage here with 15:59 to go in the third. And a face-off here coming back in neutral ice. Couple looks at the save by Wallstead. The initial shot came from Carlson, tipped by Vetrano on net. And 2 left pad saves. The first on the tip, the second on the follow-up by Seneca. As Jesper Wallsted's doing his job here in the blue paint for Minnesota. So face-off here back at the logo, won by the Ducks. As now Paling on the near side will play it for Trouba to shoot it over the Wild blue line. It'll be McCarron behind his own net for Petrie. Unable to get there in time. Terry gets to it first. Bouncing puck now, left wing circle. Trying to locate it was McTavish. Bunted it around to the near side. Drew Hellison will play it around the goal from the right wing. Went around to the left wing circle. Trennan played it back behind his own net. And the Wild defenseman Jake Middleton goes up the left side with it. Delayed offsides if the Ducks touch it as it ricocheted back in. As Middleton ends up with it. Played it ahead for McCarron. He's tied up in the Duck zone. Taking away McTavish. They're now tied up. McCarron got it back. Touched it down low. Here's Trennan in front. Middleton. A ricocheted off away from him. Now up straight away it's Johansson. Long wrister save made through some traffic by Dostal with the glove. As he'll hold it with 15:13 now to go in this third period. So the Ducks here, they have 9 game-tying goals in the last 2 minutes of regulation. It's an NHL record, 2 more than the prior record last held by Anaheim, who had 7 in 2009-2010. They have 27 combined game-winning and game-tying goals in the final 5 of regulation or OT. That is an NHL record through the first 80 games of a season. The Vikings win an O-zone draw now to the left of Dostal. The Viking played it from the near side. Gustafsson Nyberg down low. And around in the near corner, Nick Foligno's tied up because of Trouba. Trouba now can't grab it. Foligno from both knees played it behind the Duck net to the far corner. Grabbed by Lacombe, tried to feed Gauthier, tried to turn away from Foligno, got it up for VL. Bunted back for Trouba, now snapped up straight away from McTavish. Left wing, in comes Cutter. Gauthier to shot, save made. Wallstead, rebound to the near circle as Paling was on the doorstep. Now at the right wing, Paling for VL, tied up in the slot as his stick shattered because of Johansson. Meanwhile, the Wild on the counter attack. Nick Foligno flutters one to the far corner of the Duck zone down to our left. On the far wall, Vetrano protecting, goes to his own defenseman, Trouba here, goes back now to Lacombe, and up straight away comes Washi. Washi on the near side will shoot one in. Round the Wild net, it'll roll to the far corner, Vetrano. Backhanded it up to the point. Lacombe this way for Carlson. A shot deflected by Washi wide to the stick side of Wallstead. Bouncing puck in the far corner down to our right in the Wild D zone. Rolling near the goal line. Goes in behind. Haight can't grab it. Brodin trying to. Gets caught up in behind by the stick of Ian Moore. But Yakov Trennan able to get it up. And now here come the Ducks resetting at center. Carlson will flip it right back in. Under 14 minutes now to go in the third period. As now Fabry one-arms one out to center for the Wild. The Ducks have to reset again. They'll change their forward groups now as the Vetrano line gets off. On comes Gronlund, Seneca, and Killorn. So in their own zone to our left, John Carlson for Seneca, twisting far side into the Wild zone, got taken down there by Abe Kubel. Meanwhile, on the near side, the Ducks get a loose puck. Gronlund twisting over the Wild line, got poke checked back to center by Middleton. As now Gronlund at the logo, tries the left wing side, slaps one in around the Wild goal. It'll roll to the near side, and now in that corner behind it'll be Petrie. Petrie played it up dangerously to Urov, but slid it on the near side, left wing for Brink. Brink trying to glide over the logo to the far right wing, over the Duck line, squeezing past Hines. Couldn't fully get past him, though, as now at the far right wing circle, a puck deflects away from Tarasenko, and on the far wing, trying to keep it in, cannot, though, as the Ducks get out. Here's Killorn, left wing on the feed from Gronlund, crisscrossing with Seneca, left wing in the Wild zone, a shot missed to the glove side of Wallstead, came back up the near side, out near the Duck blue line, as Trouba recoils with under 12:40 to go now in this third period. Right wing in front of the penalty boxes, a pass bounced off Terry's blade, came now to the Viking on the near side, turned it over, Terry to the corner, thrown back up to the point for Trouba, now at the blue line, dish to the near side, Terry again, protecting it, can't keep it in, as the Wild take it back over. Now on the far side is McCarron chipping it over the Duck blue line. Into the far corner down to our left, that puck rolls into the trapezoid, it creeps. Now out to center, it'll bounce back to McCarron at the blue line. Loses it, now a foot race is on, getting taken down was McTavish. A penalty's coming up on McCarron as he's going to get called for interference. I think he does have a case. He's not happy about it. But with 12:10 to go in the third period, the Anaheim Ducks to the power play. When we come back, down a goal, looking for the equalizer on the road in St. Paul. Anaheim to the power play, their third of the game. They're 1 for 2 thus far, as Mason McTavish got the goal in the first period to open the scoring on the man advantage. My name is Jaric Rubel. Glad you're with me here on the final Tuesday night hockey of the season here on YouTube. So this watch along between the Ducks and the Wild's been a fun one, as Anaheim needing 2 points in this game to keep pace in the home ice advantage race, as well as the Pacific Division race for the top spot. See if they could get this tying goal. As now Gronlund's talking things over with Terry and Leo Carlson. John Carlson and Beckett Seneca, the others on this power play crew for the Anaheim Ducks. Face off here to the right of Jesper Wallstedt between Foligno and Gronlund. Penalty issued to Michael McCarron for interference. As off the draw, Gronlund got it to the back. John Carlson with it. Far wall, Seneca slid it down low through the legs. Back door, Leo Carlson couldn't get it in his 200th career game. Now at the point, it's John Carlson. Right wing circle, it's Gronlund. Gronlund looking over the traffic, seeing for a lane, has to go down low to Leo. Leo now try to put it back door for Seneca, and he couldn't get the tip. Seneca now to the far wall. It's played from Terry to John Carlson. Slid it this way to Leo Carlson. Right wing circle, back to John. One-timer, save made Wallstedt. Rebound cleared by the Wild. And 30 seconds have gone by on this Anaheim power play as they chase back. 11:33 to go in this third period. 2-1 Minnesota. Jaric Rubel with you on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Terry will leave it at his own blue line. Leo Carlson attacks left to right over the Wild line. Right wing Seneca at the circle. Send it across. Here's a shot. Gronlund blocked to the far wall by Ben Jones. On that far wall, Carlson got it. Down low behind Terry. Tried to give it back to Gronlund on the far wall, but it's sent by the Wild to the slot for Sturm to clear. And the Wild send it down the ice again under a minute to go on this Duck power play. 11 minutes left in regulation as Jesper Wallstedt has indeed been the wall of St. Paul in this game, as he stopped 31 of 32 Duck shots thus far as they're back in on the power play. Right wing, Lacomb's pass intended for Paling, terrible, taken up by Nick Foligno on the left wing. Shot into the zone, Foligno's holding the stick of Lacombe, no penalty perhaps, there should have been, as it doesn't look like a call's been made, as Foligno for sure got away with one there for the Wild. On the far left wing, it's now Mason McTavish for Paling. They'll put it around the goal in the near quarter. Here's Gauthier. Gauthier here, looking for a lane. Up top he goes, right point Lacombe. Slid it across now, McTavish back. Gauthier on an open net and fanned on a one-timer. Puck now on the near side, grab Paling to the point, it goes Lacombe. Final 5 of the power play. He has space in the slot with a shot, and he shot it over the crossbar. Back on the far wall, it's up to the point as penalty time's up. Right wing, here's Cutter Gauthier. Put it in the slot, Paling can't hold the feed. Back to the corner it goes. Cutter Gauthier to the right point for Lacombe. 10 minutes to go in the third. Lacombe long shot deflected into the glove of Wallstedt, and he'll cover. With 9:56 to go in the third period, the Wild escaped that Duck power play, and Jesper Wallstedt standing on his head in the blue paint for Minnesota as they lead it 2-1 here with half the third period remaining. Just under 10 minutes remaining in regulation time. 2-1 Minnesota over the Anaheim Ducks. In this one, Jaric Rubel with you on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube page. The playoff field's been set in the Eastern Conference. The Hurricanes will host the Senators in round one. The Sabres will host the Boston Bruins. Tampa Bay and Montreal still working out, or no, Tampa Bay will have home ice after Montreal's loss in that series against the Montreal Canadiens, Habs, and Lightning. And then the last series, Penguins and Flyers, which we saw come to life last night with the Flyers playoff clinching shootout win here on these airwaves. If you were with me for that, shout out you for joining me 2 nights in a row. As the Eastern field is set, we see how the West has to shake out because of the Pacific being such a mess. Most of those matchups are uncertain. As now into the Anaheim bench goes a puck. So a stoppage with 9:29 to go here in period number 3. Shots 33-18 in favor of Anaheim over Minnesota. And again, no stars for the Wild in this game. No Tarasenko, no Kaprizov, no Boldy, no Hartman, no Eck, no Spurgeon, no Faber, no Quinn Hughes. So they're without the big boys in this game and still up here against the Ducks with 9.5 remaining in the third. Puck here at neutral ice off the faceoff. Corralled at the logo by Killorn into the Wild zone right wing. Dropped it off John Carlson. A shot off Ania Gronlund went to the far wall. Seneca collects. Played it up to the point. It deflected in route and having trouble with it was Minchikov as he lost his balance. Now having a reset at center. On the far wing, a pass finds Seneca from John Carlson. Left side cutting into the circle. Down low, a backhander goes behind the goal. Now here's Gronlund in the trapezoid. Backhanded it up to the point. Minchikov will go back down low with it. Around the goal it goes to Seneca. Near corner down to our right. Tied up with a man in the near side. That's Viking Gustafsson Nyberg. As up the right wing it'll go and not out as it's kept by the Ducks. Seneca straight away. Slid it far left wing circle. Minchikov shot blocked in front by Kierstead. Kierstead now up for the Wild's brink to clear. And it plops down at the logo at center. Resetting quickly. John Carlson. Right wing Killorn finds Gronlund at the circle. Looking for a shot. Got tripped up and no penalty though as the referee on top of the play doesn't call it. Right wing side. Terry. Toe drag into the slot. Can't put it on net. As now Damon Hunt on the near side will flip it down the ice. Will this go for an icing? It will. So with 8:17 to go here in this third period, the Ducks will stay in the O zone. And the Wild, after being hemmed in, won't be able to make a change. So now McTavish over the boards here with Cutter Gauthier and Jeffrey Viel. As a face-off here, I beg your pardon for that hiccup. To the right here of Wallstead, who now has the correct spelling on his jersey. It's nice to see that it's not the S-T-E-A-D spelling, it's the S-T-E-D-T spelling. As now this face-off to his right will be done over. McTavish against Hunter Haight, who has the credit for the game winner as it stands. It's his first NHL goal, and he wins this D-zone draw here to the right of Wallstead. Around the goal, it's sent up the near side, and out to center, the Ducks have to reset. Hines turned it over. Marcus Johansson back into the Duck zone to the far right wing circle. Leo Carlson watches him to the corner. Played up high now Brody, and long wrist shot blocked in front to the near side Terry. Terry taking a look from the right wing. Played it softly up ahead. Hellison can't grab it. Now in front of the penalty boxes. Has to reset back at his own zone with under 8 minutes now to go in this third period. On the left wing, Troy Terry for the Ducks at the red line. Get the Wild blue. Trying to get past Brodin. Cannot. McTavish has to try and send it down low, but Johansson cut him off. And now at the logo, it's going to be grabbed by the Ducks again. Here's Lacombe. Lost it. Johansson took it. Into the Duck zone he goes. Trying to get past Trouba, but he got met by the Duck defenseman. Is now on the far side. Lacombe back on the left where right wing side. It's Gauthier. Try to drive on Middleton to the goal. And a good poke check by Wallstead out on top of the blue paint. Got it off Gauthier's blade. Now getting tripped up again there was Washi. No call on Brodin as he got upended. Now through centers. Abe Kubel try to split the D on through. Got free to the far corner. Chipped it back for Jones. Now Jones turned it over to Paling. As Paling looking up the left wing got Washi, but it jumped off his blade. Now it's sent back by Jones on the left wing over the duck line. Fabry into the slot. Abe Kubel down across. Fabry is shot, and did that go? It's loose on the goal line. They stash at it, and it went in, but no sign from the official. As did Dostal get it? He had to have before the whistle went. With 6:55 to go, the Wild are celebrating like it's a goal. And now the referees are going to huddle as the horn's going off in the arena, not here on the broadcast, as they're celebrating like it's a goal. as Abe Kubel had that puck chipped. Fabry had it across, and it went on the goal line, and that is a good goal. It's going to count for Robbie Fabry, as it's going to be a revenge goal against the team he played for last year in the Anaheim Ducks, as Robbie Fabry gets a goal for the Minnesota Wild. And overall in his career with the Anaheim Ducks, he had 16 points in 44 games. And now here with the Wild, he gets his second goal of the season in just his 21st game, as he's able to just touch it inside the far post. Dostal's left skate could not get it in time, and it went over the line. A good goal, as they're still reviewing it here, as now they're going to have to put the headsets on, but I'd imagine this should count, as Kelly Sutherland here now, after reviewing the play, a dramatic long pause, and now he's can't read his lips, but he's long explanation here, and it is going to stand. It is a good goal, so 3-1 Minnesota here on that goal by Robbie Fabry. Just barely got chipped inside that far post, and it'll be Robbie Fabry's second of the year from Abe Kubel, as Abe Kubel gets his second assist on the season in just his 6th game, and the Wild lead it 3-1. Now Fabry getting a little hug from his teammate here in Minnesota and former teammate in St. Louis, Vladimir Tarasenko, as they've known each other quite a long time. As Robbie Fabry claimed off waivers from St. Louis back in March, able to get his second goal of the season. Now back underway, the Ducks down 2 with under 7 minutes to go, as this is not great hockey for the Anaheim Ducks. Yeah, Wallsted's playing great in goal, but now they've iced the puck off the draw, and they're definitely looking for answers here, as they have not held a lead. They have trailed, I should say, in every single game since the Olympic break. That is not a recipe for success. Q on the bench just looks so just disappointed and just knows that his team doesn't have it. He's not mad. He's not barking. He genuinely just looks just sad. It's the best way to describe it. Q looks sad on the Anaheim bench, and I think he knows if they can't beat this depleted Wild team sitting everybody, they have probably no shot in the playoffs. But who knows? Maybe weird things happen and Vancouver beats Edmonton tomorrow. Edmonton draws Colorado, and LA and Anaheim play each other in the first round. All that stuff could still happen. We'll see how it all plays out, but not great right now for the Ducks, as with under 6.5 to go, they're going to need 2 goals to come back in this one. We'll see if they can. Grounding on both knees over the logo, fed it this way for Seneca. Try to drive to the goal. Middleton cut him off, and he had to avoid contact with the goalie Wallstead and did a good job of that. Meanwhile, on the far wall, still in the Wild zone, Killorn played it around the goal. Near wall, John Carlson chipped it to the back, held in by Minchikov, played it back to John Carlson in the near corner. Backhanded back to Minchikov. Back down low, it'll go. Take it away. Brink, though, from John Carlson. Send it across to Jake Middleton. And the Wild will get it on out through center with under 6 minutes to go now in the third period. Both teams changing them up. Jaric Rubel with you on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel, as Terry, a turnover at center, has Trennan back in. Chipped it into the near side. Hellison's after it. Tied up in the corner. Played it up now to Nico Sturm as the Wild get it right back. But now a good job by Leo Carlson to take it away from him. And on the right wing side, Terry will send it into Minnesota ice. Wallstead behind his own net. Shot it up the boards. It'll get out to center. No, it won't. Sturm had it poke checked beautifully by Leo Carlson. As now around the Wild goal, it'll go on the far wall. Now Brodino send it up ahead. And on the right wing there to get it first is Trennan. Dropped it off McCarron. Has a man on the doorstep. Sturm missed him with the backdoor pass. Meanwhile, the puck rolls all the way down back into the Wild zone. And Damon Hunt on the near side had a puck deflect into Anaheim ice. And now it's sent back up the near side by Hines. Deflecting one in is now Washi behind the Wild net. To the far corner, Jonas Brodin's on it. Kept it now, and he skates back the other side of the trapezoid. On the near side, Johansson flipped it out. Nick Foligno makes a nice move past Lacombe. Got tied up. Trouba knocked it away. Now to the far corner, it's collected by Haight. Had it taken away on a poke check by Wash. Came back to him. As now out of the far quarter, Foligno down to our left. Rugged around the Duck goal up to the left point. Hunt sent it back down behind to the trapezoid. Foligno trying to center. Haight shot it. Blocked in front. To the far corner it goes. Now Haight just knocked out Lacombe from the play. And the Wild keep possession. Ducks here just miserable hockey in this third period. As now on the back door, a pass from Johansson can't hit Hunt. as the Ducks look to change. As a backhand on the right wing will roll into Minnesota ice, they'll be able to reluctantly get some fresh bodies on. As now Minnesota gets possession back up the left wing's Abe Kubel, trying to get over the red line, couldn't. As now Johansson will try as he flips one into the Duck zone, bouncing now towards the goal line, collected by Minchikov as he skates around to the far corner. And now he'll leave it for John Carlson, who will give it back. Now Minchikov, far wall, taken by Paling, hopped off his blade as the Ducks here just so sloppy, trying to get through center ice, unable to generate anything right now. On the far wing, John Carlson's cross-ice pass tipped into the wild zone by Paling, goes into the far corner with McTavish for this puck. McTavish here, trying a center, came to VL, far left half boards, chipped up to the blue line, here's Minchikov, extra attacker coming on for the Ducks, empty net now to our left. Here's Seneca, centered, McTavish, a slot shot and a save made by the blocker of Wallstead. Far wall picked up Seneca to the point, Minchikov gave it right back. Left wing at the blue line, Seneca threw it to the net, off the end boards it goes, to the near side now, cutting off Jones is Minchikov, played it behind the net. McTavish in the trapezoid left it for Paling to backhand it up. Here's Seneca from the slot. A shot got the glass. It ricocheted back in front. Seneca has to corral it. He won't. It came out the center. And John Carlson now resets. 2:53 left in the third. Ducks empty net here, down 2 goals. They have the most comebacks in league history in the final 5 minutes here of regulation, as we'll see if they could get a multi-goal comeback tonight. But they're going to have to chase back to center again as Seneca backhands one in again. Wallstead out of his net to play it, looking for a goalie goal. Down the ice it goes, but it goes wide to the far side, and it'll result in an icing. So Wallstead trying to do what his buddy Philip Gustafson did a year ago, as he had a goalie goal in St. Louis, and Wallstead here trying to get one on home ice against the Anaheim Ducks, as that would have been something to have a goalie duo that have each scored an NHL goal, but instead he ices the puck, and now a face-off coming up to his right. 2:30 to go in the third period. Shots 32-20 in favor of Anaheim. Wallstead's been indeed the wall of St. Paul. Ducks win the draw to his right, though, and now unable to hold it in at the point is Cutter Gauthier, so they have to chase back yet again. And here's Trouba behind his own empty net, up through the circles in his own zone. Left it now for Lacombe. He's had a rough game tonight, but Lacombe shoots it on in and around the goal. To the near side, misplayed by Wallstead, and a good save on Gauthier as he got back in top of the blue paint, as Cutter Gauthier thought he had an open net, and Wallstead standing and falling backwards, able to make the save and laugh about it afterwards. As we'll take one final break here. 2:09 to go in the third, as that puck rode the stanchion around and fooled Wallstead. And that happened earlier in this season against the Canucks as well, that ended up in a goal against, as Wallander scored for Vancouver. I called that game, but this time Wallstead's able to recover, unlike his teammate Gustafson. Back in a moment here. 2 minutes to go in Minnesota. 2 minutes to go in this one from St. Paul. The Wild with a shortened lineup up 3-1 over the Anaheim Ducks as the Ducks cannot find a way to beat Jesper Wallstedt. The Ducks cannot find a way to get out of this slump they've been in as they are on the verge now of potentially losing their 8th game in their last 9 skates. We resume play with the Ducks in the O-zone, and on the far wall it'll be played by Terry. Tied up now, and it's sent out to center as Jaric Rubel ricocheted out. And now the Ducks reset again in the final minute 50 of this one. Regular season finale for Minnesota. The next team they play will be the Dallas Stars this weekend for Game 1 at American Airlines Center. The Ducks still have a regular season game Thursday in Nashville and a wait to see who their first round opponent will be. Down low at the right wing corner, it's Cutter Gauthier. The net's still empty for Anaheim as behind the Wild net. Gauthier out of the far corner now. Goes up top. It's touched to John Carlson. Played to the right wing circle. Leo Carlson trying to find a man backdoor. It went to the far wall. Terry back up top to John Carlson. John looking to Leo. Leo Carlson right wing. Back up top. John Carlson's one-timer. Save made by Wallstedt. Rebound to the near side. Collected by Rubel. Played around the goal. Going to be grabbed by Terry. Stashed back down low. And now Viking Gustafsson Nyberg trying to clear. Can't. As at the right wing, McTavish in the final minute. Down low in front of top there by Gronlund. Stopped by Wallstedt. As the fans here are loving it, as he's now stopped 35 of 36 Anaheim shots in this game. And a couple of good tries here in the last shift for the Ducks. Gronlund, the most recent one. There was room under the blocker side, but unable to beat the Minnesota netminder. Now it looks like a timeout's going to be used by Joel Quenneville, as now he'll try and get Jay Woodcraft as assistant coach to talk things over here with this Anaheim team, as they need 2 goals here in 58.2 seconds to try and tie it. If not, they will have lost for the 8th time in the last 9 games. This team's really struggling to find answers here since the injury to Cutter Gauthier. Yes, he's returned, but they really fell into a slump without him. And then, of course, no Radko Gudas, who's been hurt as well on the back end, not going tonight, as this Anaheim team's definitely struggling here going into the playoffs. And I just don't know if there's going to be a team they could even beat. Maybe Utah, but they're not going to win the division unless they get 2 points in this game tonight. So you could kiss that matchup goodbye. As now the timeout has gone by the wayside. Teams heading back into the Wild defensive zone now with 58.2 seconds to go in this one. So face-off will be to the left of Wallstedt. It'll be Gronlund to take this draw up against Yurov for the Wild. And off the tie-up, it's going to be played to the near corner down to our right. McTavish grabs it, left it for Gronlund. Back up top, Cutter Gauthier. Looks for a shooting lane. Goes this way to Gronlund, right wing circle. Taking a shot, they score! So the Ducks get one back with 44.7 to go, as that one beat Wallstedt to the glove side by Mikael Gronlund, the ex-Wild. And it's a 1-goal game. That shot by Gronlund tipped between the circles. There were bodies in front, and it was Mason McTavish who did get a stick on it, as it didn't go off a body. It hit the stick of McTavish in between the hash marks. That's his 2nd goal of the game, and now he has 17 on the year. The Ducks are to within 1 with 45 seconds to go in this one. And again, they have 9 game-tying goals in the last 2 minutes of regulation. It's an NHL record. And with 40 seconds to go in this one, they lose the draw, and they play it back up through center. But the Wild get possession as Petrio backhanded in. It'll be left by Dostal in the trapezoid, as now Lacombe gets it, and the Ducks have to hurry here in the final 25 of this one. Pass up the right wing, goes right in possession of the Wild, but it's turned over, and now it's going to be blown dead for an offsides, as it was walked in by Gronlund a bit too soon. So we'll see if they add any time on the clock. I believe there should be about 21 seconds, but maybe not. And now Dostal's back off again for the extra attacker. So this faceoff's going to happen in front of the Wild bench. It'll be Haight against Gronlund for this draw. 20.4 seconds remain as we'll do this face-off over again, as it was ruled to be dropped unfairly. Groundland at the faceoff dot, 50% wins this draw. The Ducks on the near side get in. Here's Cutter Gauthier on the right wing, shielding off, putting one off the back of the net. Now to the near side it came, and now down the ice it's going to get sent towards the empty net. It won't go, as an icing whistle is going to go here after Foligno tried to hit the empty target. So 9 seconds left here for the Ducks to try and get this tying goal and force overtime in this one. We'll see what happens here, as it'll be Groundland for this draw with Seneca, Leo Carlson, Cutter Gauthier, and John Carlson on the ice. It'll be Haight for this draw for the Wild to the right of Wallstead. Puck is dropped. It's won by the Ducks. Here's John Carlson, far left wing, backhanded one to the net. It deflects in behind. Now out of the far quarter with 3 seconds. Groundland tried to steer it in front. Time's going to run out, and the Wild hang on in their season finale. So 3-2 the final here, as Minnesota has taken down the Anaheim Ducks for the 21st time in their last 22 meetings, 21-1. Their record against this Duck club as of late, and they get another win against them here tonight, as Anaheim now, pending a loss by the Oilers tomorrow, will not have an opportunity at home ice in the first round of the playoffs, as after losing 8 of their last 9, their shot at a division crown has been shot down. And unless Edmonton loses tomorrow, they will begin the Stanley Cup playoffs on the road against an opponent that is to be determined. As for the Wild, they win with a shortened lineup here in their home finale, their regular season finale, as Daniel Yurov got a goal for them to put them, or get them on the board and tie the game at 1. It was his 12th of the year from Vladimir Tarasenko. Then Hunter Haight got his first NHL goal from Foligno and Marcus Johansson going bar down against Lukas Dostal. And then Robbie Fabry had a broken play, able to just sneak one barely inside the far post past the outstretched toe of Dostal. Wild went up 3-1. And then Mason McTavish, who scored the first goal of the game, his 16th of the year from Lacombe and Paling, got the last goal of the game, and it was not enough for the Ducks. No, it's his 17th of the year from Granlund and Cutter Gauthier. So that's a wrap on Tuesday night hockey this regular season. Shout out all of you who have consistently popped out each and every week, as I only missed one Tuesday this entire regular season. Pat myself on the back again. That's called consistency. But I'll be back with you on Thursday. Don't know which game I'll bring. I actually don't know if I will be with you Thursday or not, as it appears that most of these matchups, I don't think any of them mean a darn thing in the conclusion of this regular season. I'll go through the slate one more time. Perhaps the Blues and the Mammoth, with the Mammoth jockey. Well, the Mammoth are going to clinch the top spot in the wild card with a win tonight. Yeah, there's really nothing to play for. Perhaps the Kings and the Flames if I feel like it. Maybe I'll do the Ducks and the Preds. But that looks like that'll be all for me on Tuesday night hockey this year. If I don't talk to you Thursday, I'll talk to you for the beginning of the Stanley Cup playoffs, as that gets underway Saturday at 2 Eastern, 1 Central time. Matchup to be determined. If I had to take a gander, I think with the matchups as it stands right now, it might be Philadelphia and Pittsburgh Saturday at 2 Eastern. We'll see, though, as the schedule should come out Thursday night. But for now, the Wild win at 3-2 in Game 82 over the Anaheim Ducks. The Ducks, pending an Oilers loss tomorrow, will not have a shot at home ice. They conclude their regular season in Nashville Thursday, and we'll see who they match up with in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Again, my name is Jaric Rubel. Thanks so much for watching Tuesday Night Hockey yet again with me, as I've now completed my 4th straight season of Tuesday Night Hockey here at the Ultimate Sports Media channel. I'll talk to you all, if not Thursday, for the start of the Stanley Cup playoffs on Saturday. Again, the Wild win it here tonight, 3-2 over the Anaheim Ducks. And this has been a presentation of an NHL Watchalong on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube page. Jaric Rubel saying so long and good night from St. Paul.